If you've ever dealt with a plumbing issue before the sun has even come up, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's pre-market playbook. We had some earnings last night. We had some earnings this morning. Got some more stuff to do today. Chair Powell is doing his testimony here today. We're going to break it all down. It is Tuesday. Time to get rolling. Good morning, folks, and happy Tuesday morning, February 11th. We are just a couple of days closer to Valentine's Day. Let me know what your best Valentine's Day idea was. Perhaps what your most epic crash was. We'll discuss that, I'm sure, all week here. Good morning, Paul. Welcome back. It is great to see you here. Crimp Biscuit, welcome back. Sun-Kissed Yogi, welcome back. Peter, good morning. Snow at home in Colorado this AM. Peter, you are lucky, as far as I'm concerned. Son of God, Fisherman of Men, morning. Prudenica, good morning. Couch Potato, good morning. Drew, good morning. Welcome back. Reaching Financial Freedom. Hopefully you're one step closer, boss. Good morning and welcome back. Steak Viz, good morning. Producer, good morning. As always, man, hopefully you had a good morning. Matthew, good morning. Chuck, good morning. Conditionally Accepted and Bernhard, welcome back. Diamond, welcome back. Tom, welcome back. RX, welcome back. Day Trader, welcome back. Day Trader, good, nice on the trade setup there. I retweeted that for you. Happy to share ideas with the community. Hope that worked out for you. Lion, good morning. Market Sniper, good morning. RKD, good morning. Ed, good morning. And Yassine, good morning. Let's waste no more time and get right to it here. We're going to start with the SPY. So we're still obviously in the larger Trump channel right here. Yesterday's inside candle looks like here in the pre-market, we're trying to test the lower range. Futures were red across the board when I woke up here. S&P futures down 0.25%, down 0.26%. Dow futures down 0.2%, and the NASDAQ leading the way down 0.44%. Aries Stock Market, good morning. Larry, good morning. Ola 3D, good morning. Fairchild, good morning. And Dow 1, good morning. So with the SPY here, certainly looks like we were a little bit weak here this morning. Although if we take a look inside at the trading action, yeah, we went down a little bit, but we are actually up off the lows. So not much to talk about in terms of where we're at. Definitely some key levels to watch here today, but we really haven't done anything in terms of moving to a new range or carving out, or I guess picking the next leg up or the next leg down from here. Some key levels to watch are going to be outlined by the moving averages here. The 20-day moving average is currently at 601. We've discussed a lot that the round 600, where any of the round 100 numbers, but in this case, the round 600 number is often going to be a level. And then, of course, we have the 50-day moving average, $1.50 below that. I would expect maybe some of these ranges to get tested here. I'm actually looking at trading some of this stuff here today. Maybe not the SPY, maybe an individual name. We'll see how it opens up here. But my gut feeling here about how we open is we might pull a little bit right out of the open, test some of these ranges, or test some of these levels, and then give a buyable entry point there. So I have no position going in here, but I would suspect, especially if we pull a little bit out of the open, I would expect that sets up for a buyable entry opportunity here. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking at. And I haven't decided how I'm going to play that yet, whether it's a stock like Amazon or Apple or Nvidia or just one of the indices itself. But this is one of the things that I'm looking at here today. Now, upside level, we definitely want to pay attention to the red candle that we have here. This was the candle from Friday. If we break the top end of that candle, and I have that value at 608.13, I think we probably try the all-time high, which was back here at 610.78. I'm not sure if we're going to have the strength to get up there. And I'm just not sure we're going to necessarily have the catalysts to get up there. So we'll see how the SPY shakes out. Definitely kind of have a feeling that buy the dip might be in order today. But really the key is going to be figuring out where does that dip end, right? We don't want to just buy it right out of the open. We want to make sure that we get a bottom confirmed in there. But this is kind of what I'm looking at here for the SPY. Now, as far as like the market overview here, obviously there's some uncertainty with tariffs. We were just talking about the steel tariffs and the aluminum tariffs, and it seems like that is producing uncertainty, which means that the market, which is what the market doesn't like. So not really surprised to see us hanging around in here. When we were discussing this range that we're in yesterday, several members from the happy hour said, yeah, you know, this is the honeymoon phase, and eventually we're going to break out of this phase. And that's kind of, it seems like that's kind of what some traders are waiting for. So we'll see what we can get between now and then, right? I don't know what the next move is going to be. My gut tells me we're going to try and move higher, but you never know. You never know, especially with some uncertainty and tariff talk. There is one thing that I wanted to share here real quick, and it, of course, comes from our friend Ryan Dietrich. Just love his name. It's just such a great name. One big worry I have is that the S&P 500 in Q1 violated its December closing low. So if we go back to the chart here real quick, the December closing low, first of all, the low from December was put in here on Friday, December 20th. The closing low is going to be right in here. And the low that we've printed this year is clearly below that, right? So just going back to Ryan's comment here, the Q1 violated its December closing low. So we actually printed a new low in Q1 that we did not print in December. The returns for the full year are much worse when this happens versus when it doesn't happen. Years like 73, 74, the tech bubble, 08, and 2022 all made this infamous list, and now it makes it in 2025. So here are the percentages. Here's like the breakdown here. When you stay above the December lows, you can see 94.7% of the time it's higher. But when you break that low, that number is drastically different. And then if you wanted a breakdown of each year and what those actual returns are, here they are. Appreciate the producer sharing this tweet. Like I said, I love Ryan's stats. This really helps me kind of get a larger picture of what's going on in the market. And this is something to keep in mind here this year. Maybe this will be a year, if we get a down move here, maybe this will be kind of a resetting of all of that. We'll see. But this is definitely one thing that I wanted to bring up to the group. Okay, now the next piece of news that I wanted to bring up to the group is this billionaire bickering, I guess we could call it, the billionaire fight. I'm not sure if anyone cares about this, but we might as well stay up on what's going on. One of the things I'd be curious for is if any of you folks have a trade from any of this. Are you guys trading around the AI theme at all? Tesla, the OpenAI fight. Anyway, what's going on here? Elon Musk and a group of investors here have made an offer for $97.4 billion to acquire OpenAI, the nonprofit giant that Musk at one point co-founded here. So Musk, who has sued OpenAI as a company, attempts to transition to a for-profit structure, previously founded the company with Sam Altman and several other individuals. Musk put in capital to the company before leaving in 2018 over a disagreement regarding its direction. And so it looks like he wants to try and take that back. He wants OpenAI to be open source. Sam Altman's not really interested. And I guess Sam Altman countered with, well, I'm not interested in your $97.4 billion offer, but I am interested in buying Twitter for $9.74 billion. Basically, you shifted the decimal over here. I don't necessarily know what's going to come of this. The one takeaway that I have for this is that AI is a theme that's not going away anytime soon. It doesn't matter if we have DeepSeek, OpenAI, Meta, Llama, whatever it is, Alibaba. It doesn't really matter. This stuff's not going away. And there's going to be more competition in this space, which actually should do better for the end product. And there's going to be some takeover, and there's going to be some war of words, it would seem. So this is a little bit, when billionaires fight, it's a little bit above my pay grade. But I definitely want to see how this all shakes out. So this is going on right now. I know this is making some headlines. I'd be curious if you folks have any thoughts on all of this. Now, I don't really have a trade lined up for this, so I'd like to have that discussion. One other piece of news that I want to cover really quickly before we take a look at some of the charts and the possible trades today post earnings. This one here, XPeng, Geely shares fall after BYD launches an advanced driver assistance feature on car price below $10,000. So BYD on Monday rolled out an advanced driver assistance system called God's Eye. How about that for a name? God's Eye, that intends to install on a range of cars, including its low-cost Seagull hatchback, which is priced under $10,000 at no additional cost. So this driver assistance, full self-driving, there's been a lot of talk here, stateside, Tesla, Uber, Lyft, all of these other companies. Looks like China has some advanced driver assistance package, and it's going on even the cheaper models. And I think this begs the question then, can Tesla really compete with this? You know, Tesla's obviously tried to make its Model 3. It's tried to make its cheaper variant for the American consumer. But look what's happening in China. You have cars with self-driving or at least assisted driving features on it for less than 10. And it just, with some of the spat going on, it makes me wonder how competitive Tesla's actually going to be. And if some of these other Chinese EV companies have potential trades set up that we can take advantage of. Mess around with Chinese stocks a little bit. Don't really follow the whole EV craze, but just worth noting here, there's a lot of talk when Tesla comes out with a cheap model. Looks like there's going to be some pretty substantial competitors as well. Just curious to see if you guys think that if Tesla is really going to be competitive. I'm not really sure what the answer to that is. Tesla's BYD American rival also charges additionally for its driver assistance technology called full self-driving. However, that's not available in China. So will that change? How much better is the full self-driving? A lot of questions still to be answered there. But I think the biggest one is going to be, can Tesla actually compete? Well, we'll see. Some more Tesla news here regarding its power. Tesla starts production at Shanghai Megafactory less than 9 months after beginning construction. Pretty good turnaround time there. What's going on here? Elon Musk said on Monday that its newly built Megafactory in Shanghai manufactured its first Megapack, boosting the company's fast-growing energy storage segment. Now, this segment is interesting, and how this segment expands, I think, is going to be really interesting for Tesla's stock price. We have some time for that, though. Tweet here showing that it rolled off the line there. This is the stat that I was interested in. Megapack is a powerful battery manufactured by the company for large-scale energy storage. Each unit can store over 3.9 megawatts of energy, which is enough to power an average of 36,000 homes for an hour. So there you go. I'd be curious to see what kind of impact this makes. As far as some numbers go, Tesla reported revenue of over $3 billion from its energy generation and storage segment in the fourth quarter, which is more than double the $1.44 billion it reported in the corresponding quarter of 2023. So clear, that's more than a double. Clearly, it's growing. I guess my only question here is, what kind of ramp do we have? And do we expect that to continue to grow more? That should actually affect Tesla. Revenue from the energy segment accounted for about 12% of the company's total revenue in the quarter, while the automotive segment accounted for 77%. So we often have this conversation here: is Tesla a car stock or a tech stock? The argument for the car stock is mostly here that the automotive segment generates most of the revenue. But as you can see, they're doing other things like energy and energy storage. The company reported quarterly total revenue of $25.71 billion, missing a street consensus of $27.26 billion, owing to an 8% drop in automotive revenue. So automotive still causing the stock to move. Now, what does that mean for the actual stock itself? Well, let's take a look. First of all, I know that Tesla is one of the top trading vehicles here in this community. So I would love to hear how you guys are thinking about Tesla. The way I'm looking at this right now is that, yeah, we're kind of at the top end of this range where it consolidated at the middle to the end of November. So I could actually see it bouncing from here. But in a perfect world, we would actually come into this 100-day and hold it there, or maybe even dip beneath it and quickly recapture it either same day or within 2 days from that breach. We're currently at 347.5 here in the pre-market, to 100 days at 335, so it's still about 12 points below. And if you take a look at the RSI here, it's still 34. So if this stock continued to sell off, it's weak here in the pre-market. It's actually testing the pre-market low as we speak right now. All right. So if Tesla continues lower here, one bounce spot that I'm kind of looking for is going to be this 335, right? And maybe it doesn't stop right at 335. Like I said, maybe it actually goes to like 334. But this area in here seems to be a fairly decent bounce spot for Tesla. We'll see if we end up getting that. It is worth noting that if we break 333 to the downside, yeah, we do have a gap that fills down here at 320. So I know we're talking about 335 being a potential bounce spot. Also worth noting that there might be a move down to 320 if this continues. So again, would love to hear you, or would love to hear how you folks are approaching trading Tesla. I would not be opposed to day trade this here today. And actually, now that we're kind of looking at some of these lows here, I would imagine if Tesla holds this 347 here and bounces, I think we probably could get a 3+ point move if this has any strength off the open. So again, this opening print is going to be, I'm kind of curious. I know the market was looking a little bit weak here. So we'll see where we get to. We still got, good hour and 15 minutes until the open. I'm curious to see what we get, but I will have an eye on Tesla here today. And again, folks, if you guys are trading Tesla, I'd love to hear what you think about that. Love to hear what you think about that. Okay, I think that's, let's see. The only other piece of news that I think we want to cover, I guess there's two real quick pieces, then we can take a look at some stocks. We are going to have David from T3 on today too, so we're kind of waiting for that. Traders are rethinking interest rate path as inflation concerns resume. One analyst here said the Fed's rate cutting cycle is over. That is the full quote here. The labor market appears to have stabilized around full employment, reinforcing our view that the Fed's rate cutting cycle is over. That was Bank of America's economist Aditya Bave. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But basically what's going on here, there's, again, more market uncertainty. The Fed has told us for a while now that they're going to hold rates higher for longer. Now we're getting more economists that say the cutting cycle is likely over. We initially talked about perhaps 2 cuts this year. I know several of you in the group are thinking maybe only 1 cut this year. That's kind of what I'm thinking. There was a decent stat in here, I believe. Maybe I'm mixing it up with another one. But basically, yeah, I don't see it in here. Maybe I just can't find it. Basically, really the question is going to be, do we get 1 or 2 cuts here this year? I'm kind of in the camp where I think we're going to get 1 cut. But you guys let me know. You guys let me know what you think. Looks like producer putting a poll here together for us. Vote in our YouTube poll. How many rate cuts do you think we see in 2025? 1, 2, 3 or more, or no cuts? 1, 2, 3 or more, or no cuts. That's right. 4 options there. So let me know. I'd be really curious to see what you folks have to say. And then, of course, just kind of getting you prepared, perhaps one of the biggest earnings after the close here today, SMCI. This is kind of turned into a battleground stock with the short report and then delayed earnings and all of this. Will they actually get their earnings out? How's SMCI doing here today? Let me actually pull that up in the pre-market. SMCI down 4% here. Here's what the intraday chart actually looks like. So I know we had a pretty decent move recently on SMCI. Actually, I think some of you captured it. Can't recall exactly who that was, but I know that this was getting mentioned in the chat the last few days here. We're down 4% ahead of those earnings. We'll see how this thing trades here today. But a couple of things to keep in mind here regarding SMCI. It's trading 3.8% lower in the pre-market. We know that, and then this is actually a really good primer. This kind of reviews all of the things that have happened to SMCI and gives a pretty good timeline. So I'm not sure where this is going to go. I'll be honest with you. I have no position on this. I think there are things that I would rather trade out there than something like an SMCI. But this is definitely, there are going to be some fireworks on this, I think. I'm definitely interested to see how they report. And we might even get another opportunity to trade this tomorrow once the binary event is out of the way. But you folks, let me know if you are looking for an SMCI trade at all. Let me catch up here and see if I missed anything. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Sebastian. Good morning, Roaring Mouse, Jonathan, Hustle and Bustle, Marcus Aurelius, Jamel. Looks like I missed Tanya. Good morning, Kayla. Good morning, Nomad, Vera, JJ, and Mad Money. Good morning. Looks like I got it conditionally accepted. Good morning. Keep smiling. Good morning. Okay. Paul, I think this is one of the things that you were, when we were talking about Tesla here, you said, I wanted it 326. Okay. And you were looking at a weekly chart here. It looks like you said the weekly 30 EMA. I don't have that on my chart here. But again, 326, that puts us right in here. That 326 actually lines up with the bottom range of some weekly candles as well. So pretty interesting. If we do get that 326, that puts us right here. Honestly, Paul, one of the things that I would like to see for some continued upside would be a fairly quick recapture of that 100-day, which is one of the things that we talked about already here. So we'll keep an eye out. Appreciate that. 326 looks to be a level that you're looking for. Chris says Tesla needs to fill the gap on the daily down to 280. Okay, so that puts us right here. This is what you're saying. Chris, it looks like there's a gap beneath here that takes us to 250. Do you think if Tesla retraces its price all the way to this 280 mark, that it wouldn't just try and fill this gap? We also have the 200-day in there, so it might get a little sticky, but that's interesting. You're looking for some more downside here, it sounds like, in Tesla. Keep Smiling saying Tesla gives some great day trades almost every day. Indeed, and this is actually one of the reasons I'm hoping that we can get some type of tradable bottom here today. If this stock can show any relative strength to the upside, and when it's clearly in a downtrend and when it looks like it's going to hunt some of these lower moving averages, perhaps we can use that as a potential trading area. Lion saying Tesla looks weak. Conditionally accepted, so the 21 EMA on Tesla, 349.61. Conditionally accepted, I'm basically just going to call that 350 just for the sake of ease. That puts us right here. It's actually the top end of a consolidation range. Okay, so all of these areas here, pretty good. All of these areas here, pretty good on Tesla. Chris also said, read my lips, no more rate cuts. Honestly, Chris, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. To be quite honest with you, I know I initially think I said one rate cut. I'll stay on that until I'm wrong. But frankly, I wouldn't even be terribly surprised if we didn't get one. Got to make sure that we keep inflation at bay. Good morning, Seahorse Trading. Okay, and that's pretty much that we're pretty much caught up there. Okay, sweet. So, all right, let's take a look at some of the stocks that reported earnings here today. We got 8 minutes until we do T3. We're going to start with Shop here. Now, the first thing that I want to know from you folks, who likes trading this? Is this a popular stock? For trading, for me, I always get this. I always think about this in reference to Spotify, just because sometimes I mix their tickers up here. But I'm just curious if anyone has experience trading this. Take a look where we're at here. We're actually down 3.25% today. Shopify's Q4 sales were $2.81 billion. That beat the $2.73 billion estimate. So a nice beat there on sales. And my question here is actually earlier we were down a little bit more. Okay. So excellent. This is great. My question has already been answered. Now, where we close is going to tell us a lot about Shopify. But let me actually just back up a little bit here, and I'll show you what I was looking at. First of all, here's the pull right after the earnings. Okay, we started trading up a little bit. Now, when I first looked at this, stock was about 111 and change here. So if we go back to the daily, you'll notice that 111 and change was right beneath the 50-day moving average that I have at 111.64. And the 20-day moving average that I had at 112.22. So my thought here for a potential trade is if we're able to recapture these two moving averages, we might be back to the buy the dip that we have seen prevalent throughout the market, whether it's individual names, indices, or otherwise. And so to me, it does seem like SHOP probably is set up for a buy the dip trade here today. And I'm thrilled now. You can see that the price here in the pre-market 116.50. So although the candle is not correctly being drawn there, we did exactly what I'd hope, right? We came down here, held 110. We actually recaptured both of those moving averages. I would not be shocked if we get an upside move on here. Now, maybe there will be some more selling right at the open. Again, maybe just watch this opening print for the first 5 and 10 minutes. But Shopify here today, this one might be in play here today. And if we really have some juice, I wouldn't be terribly shocked if we filled this gap up towards 119 and 3/4, maybe even 120. So we'll see if we get a tradable setup here in Shopify. I did want to see Shopify price target raised to 175 from 143 at Citi. Okay, so you got one price target raised there. Was there another one here? Nope, that was the same Citigroup one. So, all right. And actually, this one, I didn't notice any unusual options traded on this recently. And I think these options are actually pretty expensive, but this might be in play here today. Let's see. The February monthly contract, which has 10 days to expiry, not horrific, even for $100+ stock. So Shopify, just keep this on your radar. Ticker SHOP. We actually might have a day trade here today, especially now that we've shown some strength. I want to see what the opening print looks like, see what we do with these moving averages, but it's really great to see us up off the lows after a beat there. And we'll see if we get an upside trade here on SHOP. RX saying SHOP is for long term. So it looks like you're not even looking to trade that here today. You're just looking for the long term. Totally fine. But I'd like to know what you have there, or what kind of plan that you have there. I don't like trading. It's better long term, but I took some lottos for earnings. Okay, did you take lotto calls? Because I think that did pull here. All right. I can't trade Shopify. Conditionally accepted. I see what you did there, my man. I see what you did there. I like that. Okay, folks, it is almost 8:30 here, so we are going to go to our special guest. It is, of course, a T3 Tuesday, and we are happy to welcome back David Prince. Let's bring him on. Good morning, David. How are you doing today?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Look, I've had the last couple of weeks have really been pretty crazy, right? We had obviously we had the first Monday after the inauguration, we had a holiday. The next Monday, we had a DeepSeek headline that sent the market reeling that the buy the dippers came in. Then the following weekend, we had news about tariffs, sent the market reeling, buy the dippers came back in. So this has actually been great for us traders that are trying to capture volatility. I wonder, what are you seeing out there? What are some of your top plays here today? And before we get into that, I want to remind everybody, please join David's free webinar tomorrow at 4:30. Learn how you can find big wins starting right now. QR code on the screen. Link is in the chat. So David, how have you been doing these past couple of weeks?
It's going to sound promotional, but directly, it's an awesome trading market, right?
I see the same thing that you do.
Been in a trendy market for 2 years, higher, and occasionally you get a drastic correction, or 10% if you're lucky, and you get aggressive. Now we have some volatility, which frankly, I don't think anyone should be shocked. We have a new president. He's kind of has quite a mouth on him, and does say what he feels and thinks. So to me, this is all expected and nothing shocking. My year-end note literally wrote stuff like this is on Twitter or X. It wrote, hey, expect some volatility. We've had a lack of volatility for years. I think if there's ever a time, it's now, given the breadth of the markets and the new president. And secondly, don't rely on Mag 7. There's zero shot these guys are going to lead us. So you're going to have to find a new group of leadership and expect some volatility that you can buy with, I did mention one, with NVIDIA. Is it going to lead us higher? No. But inevitably, I wrote this. I said, inevitably, will it come in 20, 30% on some rumor or some news that the world is ending? I said, yes. And you're going to want to buy it just like you did the last 2 years. So that's what I said. That's what I've done. And it's been awesome. It's been fun.
And I'll tell you what, NVIDIA here, we had actually talked about it on this show as well. This thing came into the 200-day, flirted with that area for a little bit, lost it, recaptured it. What a great trade. What a great trade this was. So let me ask you, what are some of your favorite setups that you're looking at right now? Do you have anything specific for today or this week, or are you just kind of waiting it out? What do you see out there right now?
I'll tell you what I've done this week. So I am definitely not, just because we're speaking about it, I'm not excited about NVIDIA up here. I was a buyer at 113s, shared it with the street, like on Twitter, and I've trimmed a lot. Now I'm holding some, but 20-point move. What I do like is there's a new group of leaders, right? Previous to earnings today, Shopify, we saw A-Lab, we saw Spotify, we saw Hubs, we saw Snowflake, and yesterday Affirm. Affirm is one, I think that was a really meaty print, and I don't think it's done. I am not bullish the broad market. I am bullish a few individual names. TEM is one that I've been in for the last many, many points, and I adore the stock, but up here, a little less so. So here are kind of my babies, so to speak, that I'm buyer of dips. Big fan of Snowflake into the print, but it has had a significant move. So I'd be a buyer in 170s, not 180s, and I bought it as low as 160s. Big fan of Affirm. Bought the dip yesterday. Bought calls in stock. I'm an investor in Immunome. If anyone looked at the recent deal, they did a deal down under 8. It's up over 50% in a week.
Is that IMNM? Yep, that's what I thought. I always mix this ticker up.
Godfather in the biotech space, who's the founder and previous CEO to Seagen. Clay is one of the biggest players are in biotech, and this is like a teeny little market cap company, about $1 billion or a little less. So I think years from now it'll be several billion. But it's a long-term story. Big fan of Snowflake, big fan of Affirm, big fan of using the volatility to buy dips. Not a big fan of the market here and today. Example, last Friday, after getting long TQQ on that Monday, NVIDIA and Snow, I said, listen, it's like we touched 508 in the Qs that Sunday night. Now we're at 530. What are the odds we pull back in the next few days? Didn't say this Friday. So I said, I'm buying Tuesday puts on the Qs. And I'm going to be fairly aggressive because this is 20 some odd points in a week, while we're losing leadership from all the top tech stocks, mainly Mag 7. Bought 528s. Next thing I know, they're up over 100%. I honestly thought maybe Monday or Tuesday I get paid, not that day. And we pull back. And then everyone says, oh my God, 2 Fridays in a row, 2 Mondays in a row, the next Monday. And I said, listen, I may be old, but I'm not a sucker. Like at 54, I can tell you the odds that it's that easy and we crash Monday are like that. So I actually didn't get heavily short because we all know if it was that easy, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be in St. Louis. It's just right. It's not how it works. So I'm using the broad range and effectively it's been fun. I want to say this. I am not a bull of the overall market, but I'm not smart enough to call the top. Valuations are high. Rates are inflation sticky. Rates are sticky. Our Fed chairman, I heard you say it, like if he doesn't cut rates one more time, I wouldn't be shocked. And frankly, I don't think the subprime consumer holds up forever. So I'm a buyer, what I like to say, underneath the hood, special stories. TEM's been one, Snowflake's been one. Broad market, I think, has way more risk than reward over the next 12 months. But I'm net long. So I have no problem saying that, yet I'm net long still.
So I'm thrilled that you said that, frankly, because me personally, I'm someone that's been kind of waiting for a sell-off, and I've kind of been waiting for that for probably more than half of 2024. And as you know, that never came. Dude, and so
sorry, but I got to say this, and I'm not you sound like you know what you're doing. So you're not missing the guys who do that. The amount they miss on the upside, they never make on the downside. No one ever gets that. Like unless the market crashes 20% in a day, you never make back what you missed, especially because the last part of a bull market is the crazy part. Sorry to interrupt, but
you're exactly right. And that's exactly where I was going there, because although I was anticipating this, we have a motto around the show. It's okay to be wrong, but it's not okay to stay wrong. And I realized that, hey, the market's not selling off. If you can't beat them, join them. And so I share the exact same opinion that you do. I think that we're a little bit frothy here. I think valuations are a little bit too high. I think several of these indices like the SPY and the Qs probably need some type of pullback, but we're not really getting that. So instead of being broad-based, I'm actually being very selective about what I trade based on the chart. Sometimes it's a rebound play, sometimes it's a theme play. And I've been doing the same. I've pretty much been doing the same thing. So it's great to hear a similar type of opinion here. I do have one specific question on one of the stocks that you named, if that's all right. You were talking about a firm here, and you were pretty clear that you don't think this is done yet. And so the follow-up question that I have is, where do you think the near-term top is here, if you're willing to give that? And if not, what are you kind of looking at for potential reversals? I know when we have Red Dog on, he talks about the Red Dog reversal and how that changes his trades and all of that. What do you see here on Affirmed, or what are you looking for next out of this trade?
90 to 95-ish if the market holds up. Like I'm willing, if we have a 15, 20% pullback, Affirm is not special enough. This stock is just going to somehow, it's not Palantir, right? But we've just hit profitability, brand name CEO, and it turns out subprime's not hurting them. Everyone's always been worried about, buy now, pay never. That's not the case. We'll see about Upstart. Upstart might be a little bit more subprime oriented, that has issues. So I just think if we look right now, right, and I don't mean to get too long-winded, but the Affirms previous to today, some people are concerned about gross margins on ALAB, but ALAB, Spotify, if there's another few months left in this market, it's these types of stories that are still, some of them like Affirm, way off highs that are now cash flow positive that are going to lead us to the next level. So I look at an Affirm and I say, okay, we have a great earnings gap to trade from. I'm a little less technically oriented than Red Dog. Love him and love what he does, but I tend to use emotion. And just when I bought NVIDIA at 113, the chart did not tell me to buy it there. Emotions, right. Twitter, the silliness about it's going to zero told me to go buy it.
That's actually a good contrarian indicator. Someone saying NVIDIA is going to zero is a long setup.
You know what I mean, guys. With gap fill 92, game's over. You're an idiot. All that stuff. So when guys get that complacent, that confident, that's when I do. So I just feel like it's the perfect time, perfect place, and it's earning the right money, and it's not only raising guidance, it's them beating raised guidance. So do I think it's going like 150? No, because I'm not that bullish the market, but can I see it go up another 20%? Absolutely. And I'll keep buying that earnings gap, the lower 70s, if we get there on any, pullbacks. Like this morning, I don't know if you saw, it was $81. I sold some at 79 this morning. So we bought stock and calls yesterday, the 73 area, 74 area, trim some when it gapped up, trim some this morning. And if we buy it, it comes back in there. TEM, I don't think this story's done. There's one that's got so much meat on the bone, and the story is just, people like stories. Palantir is not here because, they're earning that much money. Great company, killing it, but some of it's the narrative. TEM has some of that narrative right now. So
TEM has the Pelosi push going here too. That's the other thing.
But it has a real product. It's talking about being cash flow positive this year as well. It's literally run by a guy who's had 4 other monster winners. So there's a lot going on there. Problem, just like a lot of these winners, it's come so far. So you got to look at the 8 and 10 day and look for a pullback. So this is one I keep selling up between 68 and 70 recently the last few days. If I see 64, 65, I buy some back. If eventually I see 59, 60, then I get more interested. And that's how I'm playing the entire market with the favorite names I just told you.
Okay. Looking real good. By the way, Upstart reports tonight. So we'll see what we get out of that Upstart.
I don't think it's as good as Affirm. My gut is I think the street wants to extrapolate, Affirm, big winner, Upstart, big winner. I don't know if their business model is close enough that it means, I hope it does. Like I'd like to see it to the upside and have a new story to get to behind, because that chart on Upstart's kind of getting special, but I don't know if it's going to be the same outcome.
Okay, and just real quickly, just because we're kind of talking about buy now, pay later, do you have any thought on Sezzle, SEZL? This is one of the buy now, pay later leaders. They had a short report that really kind of knocked them down, and this chart actually looks like it's going to try and trade north here. I'm just wondering if you have any opinion on
Love to
SEZL.
sound smart. Don't trade it at all. Not familiar, so I would not comment because I don't know.
Totally fine.
No opinion.
Totally fine. Folks, join David's free webinar on February 12th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern to learn how to find big wins starting right now. QR code on the screen. Link is in the chat. Anything else that you want to leave us with? Are there any earnings that you're kind of looking for at the rest of earnings season here?
There's this little company called NVIDIA. But on a serious note, I think they can put a lot of the deep sea questions to bed. And let's face it, it's going to affect power. It's going to affect nuclear, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to affect so much of the market and so many other chip companies that I really think NVIDIA probably means more this quarter, not to be dramatic, because it's not just about their earnings. It's, hey, is the nuclear story for real? Mm-hmm. Or is there a cheaper way to do things? We all know it's not 6 million, but the question is has the story changed somewhat? And Jensen's going to give us some real clear thinking on that. He might even comments about quantum. So, I look like there's this whole group of stocks, Core Scientific, HUT, APLD, and we have this CoreWeave deal coming this year.
Yep.
What he says matters to all those guys, right? They can't keep going. What he says matters to that NNE and Oklo. So it's as big as it's ever been as far as an earnings call. And then I'm definitely watching Upstart tonight. And Snowflake is the big one I'm real excited for a little later on in the month.
Okay, real good stuff there. Also, you had mentioned some IPOs coming. Are you have your eye on companies like Cerebras or Databricks or any of those bigger AI IPOs?
Yeah, Databricks definitely. For me, IPOs are pretty simple. It's where are we, in terms of the opening? How exciting our people? Is there more you can dream? Let's face it, this Reddit turned out to be a gift because people weren't dreaming too big, right? I wish I was smart enough, by the way. I wasn't.
Me too. Same with me. I wish I was smart enough. I wasn't. I thought this was going lower.
So my point though is I don't get too excited pre the IPO because sometimes there's just not a lot left in it, right? Or sometimes there's tons because people haven't dreamed what this company actually is yet, like the case of Reddit. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And I guess I should say, listen, biotech has been an unmitigated disaster, right? For a trader, it's a no touch. But for an investor, I think it's a no-brainer to have some biotech put away in a long-term portfolio, which we didn't mention. One day, someone's going to wake up and say, because it's been years and years. Biotech trains like a broken meme stock at this point. So
yeah,
it's probably a good investment.
You're absolutely right. And one morning, one of your holdings could be looking at a huge buyout. And we've actually seen that a couple of times this year. So, okay, David, really good stuff here. Again, folks, join David's free webinar, February 12th, 4:30 p.m. QR code on the screen, link in the chat. David, really good stuff. Have a great rest of your week. We're going to check in with you next time.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care. That is David Prince from T3. These guys are awesome. They are on top of it all, and they are always looking for new trades here. We're lucky to have them. So really good stuff there. Looks like Marcus Aurelius also liking Snow here. So interesting. Snow's chart actually, I'm glad he brought this up. Snow's chart actually looks like this really wants to break and maybe make a run towards 200. Definitely seems like it's kind of firming up here. It looks like we're kind of teasing a breakout here. I guess if we zoom out a little bit, maybe you have the makings of a head and shoulders there, although it looks pretty crummy here on the weekly. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked here, actually. Snow 200. I'll look into that. I will look into that. Thank you, David. Really good stuff. Let me know if you folks are into David. Pretty good rundown there on some of the stocks that he's looking for. Let me know if you folks are interested in any of those as well. Okay, real quick, couple more stocks that reported earnings here today. I wanted to mention, not necessarily sure if we're going to have trades on these, although if you folks have ideas, let's talk about it. Coca-Cola reporting earnings here today. Warren Buffett will be really, really happy. Coca-Cola shares trading higher after reported better than expected Q4 financial results. Adjusted EPS of 55 cent beat the 52 cent estimate. Sales $11.58 11.5 billion, beat the 10.67 billion. So really nice beat there. Coke here up 3.63%. Really the only question I have is, do we fade this pop? Or does maybe Coke hold this? What I would like to see for a trade here, I mean, Coke to me is more of a long-term hold stock than it is a stock that you want to trade. I feel like it's probably just easier as a long-term hold, but for the purpose of a trade here, if this stock really can kind of come back in, hold this 200-day at 65.40 right here, you actually might be set up for another move higher. Now, Coke trades pretty thick. Doesn't this thing pay a dividend? Yeah, pays a 2.75% dividend. So kind of a longer term play here in Coke. But interesting, they reported earnings trading higher today, and in the process, capturing or recapturing the 100 and the 200 day. The last stock that I wanted to take a look at earnings here, and we'll go ahead and bring on 13 and talk about a bunch of other stocks that you folks want to take a look at. BP here, ticker BP. BP Q4 adjusted EPS of 44 cents misses the 47-cent estimate. Sales of 45.75 billion misses the 47.5 billion. So you had a miss on the top and on the bottom line here. You can see BP not really affected by that. The conference call is scheduled here for 9 a.m. See, we really didn't get anything else here yet. BP CEO pledges, quote, fundamental reset as Q4 profit drops 60%. I guess we'll see how this stock trades here today, but that's another earnings that's out here today. And then the last one that I wanted to mention really quick, ticker HUM. This is going to be Humana. You can see where this stock's at, still under $300. Let's take a look at the daily chart here real quick. Yep, still under the 200, although making a move here today. We'll see how this stock does. Humana Q4 2024 adjusted EPS, a 2.16 loss. That was in line. Sales 29.19 billion, beat the 28.83 billion estimate. So you had although it was in line, here's a beat, and stock is higher here by 4.5%. Ticker HUM. Okay, that does it for the earnings. Let's go ahead and bring on 13, see how he's doing here today. 13, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right. How is everybody out there this morning?
Doing pretty good. I had a plumbing issue to deal with before the sun was up here today, but I should be squared away. So we should be all right here today. I will say, had another great day yesterday and really looking forward to some trading action here today. So I'm hoping to break down some of these stocks and take a look at some of these setups with you.
Oh, I hear that. I had a pretty good day yesterday as well. Remember I was talking about unwinding my Nintendo position?
Yes, NTDOY is Nintendo.
I am finally out of that after it struck 18 yesterday. So the whole plan was, because I started unwinding it, I think it was a week or two ago. I sold a third of what I had left, and I had the rest on a $17 limit order and an $18 limit order, and now I'm out. That was a wonderful long-term trade. This was all, for the run-up into the Switch announcement and release date, and that's they're going to release it later this year, so that's going to be an event on its own. But this was something I've been holding for a while. I really like the company. I'm kind of sad that I'm out of it now, but rules are rules. I'll get back into another time. I like Nintendo. Just not up here.
Rules are rules. I guess we'll just start with that. First of all, this thing, you're selling into strength, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. RSI here, just in overbought territory. Stock is extended from its 200-day moving average. I mean, check, 13. Looks like you did a really good job there. The only question that I have is, with your profits here, are you going to roll that into a new Switch when that is released?
Maybe. I know the kids want one.
Okay. Well, that you answered my question. If the kids want one, the answer is yes. You will be rolling into one.
It looks good
later this year.
It looks like an improvement over the other one. So yeah, and it's supposed to be on par with like a PS5. So anyway, we'll get all that when we get closer. But I was really happy with the way Nintendo worked out. Didn't expect to get to 18 this quickly, but it is what it is.
Okay, there you go. Chris saying Ryan needs some Pepto-Bismol for the plumbing issues. No, Chris, I needed an actual plumber.
Drano.
I can fix issues with myself. It's with some of the other stuff that I can't, but no, we're doing okay. All right, 13. Really quickly, I'm just going to bring it up again because I've got it here on another screen, and I'm continuing to watch performance that I was actually hoping to capture in the regular session. To be quite frank, I did think that, first of all, when I woke up here, Shopify was down several percent, down here right at about 111. It's currently at 119, so we're 8 points higher than when I first took a look at this. But one of the things that I was looking at is I thought, you know what, with the buy the dip in effect here, Shopify's number really wasn't that terrible, had another price target adjustment way higher than the current price this morning post report. So I figured, you know what, this might be a decent buy the dip candidate. And I started at the daily chart as I normally do. Stock price was right about 111. We had just dipped below the 50 and the 20-day. And I said to myself, if we're able to recapture some of these levels here today, we might have a potential trade to the upside. And with my current trading plan, I wanted to do it with options. I ended up not buying any stock here. And when I checked back on it, I had little Jay Rice right here on my shoulder saying, you should have bought in the pre-market. You should have bought in the pre-market because look what happened. This stock did exactly what I had hoped. It recaptured those moving averages and it's continued higher. This stock actually red-green post earnings here. So I don't know. We'll see if we get another shot here. I will be honest, not much for trading in the pre-market. I'm often preparing for this show and getting all my stuff ready, so I can't really focus on trading to begin with. And this stock actually ended up working here. So I want to see how this stock behaves right out of the open, but I am looking for a couple of different buy the dip opportunities. One of the other ones that I'm looking at here, 13, is going to be Tesla. Tesla holding the pre-market and after hours low area, at least so far. We'll see if it ends up breaking here. The other thing, when I look at the daily chart, I'd love for this stock to come into 335. Unsure if we get that here today, but these are just two of the bigger trades that I was looking at here today. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to look at?
When you brought Shopify up, I was like, well, there's an upside target that kind of stands out if you'd like to know what it is. We did get a big buy the dip, and now we're looking to break out of the the area we had closed at yesterday, right? So if this bullish activity continues, and it's going to continue the same way it was showing itself in the pre-market, putting in almost a $10 move after it rebounded.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I'd say that 128 is going to be a potential resistance area. So if you want to mark that off in Shopify and kind of look to the left,
let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and add a horizontal line now. 128 even.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like 127 and change, or a little bit higher.
128 even. My CDO likes that.
Mm-hmm. It's easier.
Yeah,
it's easier to remember. So that was so. Then you look to the left, you can see how that used to be a pretty strong resistance area
and support.
Support area. And then once that support was lost, we have not seen that support area for almost 3 years now. So I think it's a little important that we are finally revisiting it after so long.
Okay, and then also in addition here, upside level. I know the pre-market area here, 125, but also yesterday's high right in here, 123.41. So we'll be looking at some of those levels again. I do want to see what the opening print is like. Maybe this does pull back a little bit right out of the open. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely keep ticker SHOP on your radar today.
And then as far as Tesla goes, you said you were looking for a pullback to where?
The thing that stands out to me is the 100-day at 335. So I could see us pulling back to there, but I could also actually see us just kind of holding this area representing today's pre-market low as well as yesterday's after hours low. So I just kind of, again, same deal here. I want to see what the opening print does here on Tesla. You got any other spots we should be taking a look at?
Well, I think I said yesterday 350 was an interesting area or something to that effect, because when I look at the price action we have yesterday and into today, we closed above 350, and now we're poised to open beneath it. So I'm wondering if the market, once we open, is going to try and move back up to 350. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when we get to 350. We could just get rejected there, and it could end up going lower. But I think 350 is going to be an important level to watch for. And it might be a breakout level, might be rejection. At this stage, I think it could be a rejection level, but I think we may try to trade back up to that at some point in the morning here. So we'll see.
Okay, there you go. Another little lesson there.
Yeah, it's just the RSI is really low on the daily, so it would seem like that would be one of the first few things that could possibly happen is it tries to get back up over 350, but this might not be strong enough to do that. So I don't know. I think 350 is going to be a level to watch for, though.
Okay, love it. More information, the more informed we are. Captain Cloudy here saying, Ryan, buy the dip in Tesla for me is at least 250. So Captain Cloudy, it sure seems like you're taking a longer term approach here. And if this thing does get down to that 250 area, that would also take out the 200. You're looking to buy there. I'll tell you what, I'd probably join you there, Captain Cloudy. We'll see if we get some more trades before that. But good stuff. Yev, good morning from Austin. All right, our Texas crew checking in. Jers, good afternoon from Germany. Let's go. How is the weather over there in Germany right now? Really good stuff.
I really hope it's wunderbar.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. We'll just kind of go with this here. Jer's asking about Amazon. We'll take a look at Amazon here real quick. This is another one. First of all, yesterday, I'm glad Izzy hit it, but I'm a little upset that I missed it here. We did dip a little bit right out of that pre-market. Not a whole lot, but dipped a little bit. And then bang, man, did we really reverse hard and run on Amazon. So I'll be looking for something similar here today. One level I'd be looking for here is going to be 230. We'll see if we pull there, pull to that level. But could see Amazon being another decent trade here. We're pretty much riding right on the 200. And then if we break this 234 and change to the upside, we got a gap fill up here, maybe 237-ish. So I kind of like Amazon too. I'd really only feel great buying this if we dipped and then kind of held a tradable spot right out of the open. All right.
I just realized how dark my feed is. There's no contrast. Let me see if I can open my window a little bit.
Okay. I think one of the other things that we should do here, let's see, we've got 24 minutes. We should probably head over to the movers tool, take care of some of the movers, and then we can close out the pre-market with some ticker time before we open here. And then the other thing I wanted to see, do we have any other? No, LIPO. This is one we're going to talk about here in a second. Red Book 5.3 versus 5.7. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the movers. Don't see anything crazy there on the wire. Not sure if you prepared for any of these, but LIPO, this is the first one here on the list. Just go ahead and roll right into this one. Lapella Pharmaceuticals shares are trading higher after the company announced a favorable safety profile for its phase 2A results of LP310 for the treatment of oral lichen plantis. Stock here did trade as high as 550. It's really kind of come back in. We're actually beneath the VWAP right now, so we'll see if we can recapture that VWAP. Retraced about a quarter of that impulse move higher here. 2.29% of the float charted with 1 day to cover, so kind of skeptical on the squeeze potential. However, the float, this is what makes this stock attractive. Float 986,000. I know we talked about this one recently. Was this one that had a recent split? Yes, fairly recent, I would call this. Beginning of November last year, this company did a 1-for-8. So 13, what do you think here? LIPO.
Well, I think the MACD on the 5-minute is telling us that it's trying to curl and move and make its way back up over the VWAP. Not quite there yet, but it looks like we're starting to do that. So we'll see if we end up getting that before we open. As you said, this was results of phase 2A. Tried to take a look at their pipeline. Didn't really get a good indication of what's coming next for some of these drugs that they have. So I don't know when they're going to initiate the phase 2B or when that's supposed to start or anything. But I did see that this is for their LP 310 drug. I did see that their phase 2A for their LP 410 is supposed to start in sometime in this first half of 2025. So there's another future catalyst we might end up seeing here for LIPO as well. The company does not have a very robust cash position at all. They are going to have to do some kind of capital raise at some point So just keep that in mind when we're looking at we're trading this one. That might not want to hold this for too long. Just trade the movement and be done with it. I don't think this is something that's worth holding on to, especially if they are having a lot less cash than where they should be at this point if they're going to be moving into future clinical trials.
Okay, Jay Wild here with the really great reminder. LIPO, the last time it ran, it pulled back and gave it all up here. Last time it ran was last Thursday. We actually, the PR here was that it received FDA approval for expanded access. Yeah, go ahead.
This was that one that had the expanded access. So more, people that were affected by, what they're trying to treat these for, they could be more eligible for, participating in these drug trials. So yeah, it had that news. Now we're getting this news.
Now we're getting the positive data news. Exactly.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we ended up getting some more news later this month on some other facet of their business. They just have, like I said, they had the phase 2A for the LP 410 that's going to be happening. That result's going to come out sometime this first half. They have other drugs in the pipeline. They could make another announcement. Just keep an eye on this one. Like I said, this is not one that I would hold on to, but we are going to trade the movement because this thing does move due to its very low float.
Yep, and it's currently right here bouncing off the 15 EMA on the 15-minute chart there real quick. By the way, while we were talking about that, market pulling a little bit here ahead of the open. S&P futures ticking down, now down 0.5%. Dow futures down 0.33%, and NASDAQ continuing to lead the way down 0.75% here. So SPY falling a little right ahead of the open. We'll see if that sets up any more trades here for us. Okay, LIPO, really good stuff. I'd be looking for a top side level of 550 here. I think if that top side level breaks, you might have one of those big runs. I'm not sure that this is going to be the big multiple 100% runner, but given the float, given the catalyst, maybe this could be.
We haven't seen, these 100% runners really in these names that are over $1. It hasn't happened much lately. All those big movers have been, penny stocks, which we can also do in ticker time. But, I'm not going to really cover those when we want to look at these companies that are moving. Okay,
next one here is AIFF. And I did see several people were asking about this one earlier here. This is Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience shares are trading higher after the company announced its acceptance into the NVIDIA Connect program. So here we go. There's small cap getting a PR here that mentions NVIDIA. I'll be honest, I don't know what this Connect program is. We'll have to figure that one out here. 38.9% of the float shorted here, 2.12 million. That was a substantial kick up from the prior read. Now, the average volume went up considerably. So the days to cover actually went down, but short interest much higher now. And this stock has a float of 5.5 million. So 13, what do you got here? And I'm actually going to make sure that these plumbers are taken care of. BRB.
Yeah, no problem. So this is another one that is going to need to do a capital raise. The big headline, of course, the fact that they have NVIDIA in the title. I'm not sure exactly what all this company does, but neuroscience being in the name, I'm sure it has a lot to do with the cranium. So 5.5 million shares in the float. That's still within the range that we like to trade in. The big thing here was that we are seeing I think what we are getting is more of a short squeeze here. But as I said, the company does need cash. I'd be a little bit vigilant as to whether or not this is going to do drop a capital raise today. But I do believe when I was looking at this earlier that I saw that they had filed they had filed to sell 4.53 million shares of common stock. So that they do have that offering ready to go. I just don't think they've executed it. So just something to keep in the back of your head when you're trading this. Another one like LiPo, we don't want to be holding on to these. We just want to trade their movement, be in, be out, say thank you very much, and move on to the next one. So that's what I've got for AIFF. Well, he's gone. Let's see if
I'm right here. Sorry about that.
Oh, dang it.
No, it was really good timing. What do you got next?
I was just looking at select quote SLQT. Okay. I don't really have a whole lot on this one.
For heaven's sakes, one sec. Let me bring it up. 1 sec.
All right. Okay. So yeah, SLQT. This is insurance, and right now everybody hates that. They are moving on their Q2 earnings report, which was actually pretty good. And let me just pull this up here. They also, I think they also had a really good guide. But the problem is that this has 134 million shares in the float. It's quite heavy. And when I look at what's the price action has been so far this morning, since that impulse move on their earnings, we have not really done a whole lot. We got as high as 620, kind of went sideways. The low was 540, but we're kind of hanging out around 570 right now. I would tend to think that this is going to probably leak lower over the course of the day, just because that's what we've seen happen with these large float stocks. Doesn't matter what the news is, they tend to just trade pretty poorly when the float's too large. So when it comes to Select Quote, still it looks like it's good. It's a great company, but as for the purposes of trading the movement, I don't know that we're going to get what we want out of it. So just be careful with SLQT.
Okay, real quick, seems like some news is breaking here on Apple as this is rocketing higher here. It looks like 230 the print. Apple and Alibaba shares are trading higher following a report from the information indicating the companies partnered to develop AI features for iPhone user in China.
Ooh.
Okay, interesting. So this is actually against the backdrop of Apple sales declining and this, that, and the other thing, a bunch of other stuff here. So here we go. This news fresh here. Apple up. Apple really kind of spiking here up. This is this is a red to green move here. Apple's holding it about 0.5% higher. Baba's the other mention here. Baba, same deal. So both of these stocks are trading up here on that piece of news. What do we think? Knee-jerk reaction. This is buyable?
I think it's probably good for the company. I wouldn't say that's great for iPhone users. I think that just kind of you just basically bent the knee to China.
Well, I think that this says this is for iPhone users in China. So
yeah, but what I'm saying is Apple bent the knee to China. Like that was the whole big thing is they weren't able to come out with their Apple AI in China because China wanted them to have given backdoor access.
Mm-hmm.
And they said no. So I'm wondering what the concession here was. I don't think this is good. In my opinion, it's not.
Okay.
It's ultimately not good. But it's probably great for the company in the short term, the medium term, maybe, because that just means that they now have a market to sell to. That they're going to try to claw back their market share in China after those domestic phones that they've been producing out there coming with all these different features, trifold phones, whatnot. But one of the big hangups as to why Apple was being able to expand out there is because of their Apple AI not having certain access or backdoor access for China to get into. So I got to wonder what kind of concessions were made.
Okay, so that's the Apple Baba news. We can check back in on that as that shakes out here, but we have more news here. Dom H, looks like this is going here in the pre-market on volume. See if we've got some news here. Domineer Holdings. We got a couple of pieces of news here. Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump to join the advisory board. They announced 13.5 million registered direct and private placement offering priced at the market under NASDAQ rules. The private placement looks like that's $3.47 a share. The stock is actually ripping right now on Don Jr. and Eric joining the board.
They do a 13.5 million registered direct and private placement at the market under the NASDAQ rules, and then they declare a special cash dividend, and then they declare that the Trumps are joining the advisory board. Let's see how much we can smooth over this dilution of shares by throwing money at shareholders and telling them that the Trumps are on the board. That's the way I'm reading this.
Market Sniper saying Dom H going to 12. Tell you what, Dom H, this is now on deck here for a potential day trade target. The information about that offering and all that right here in the press release. So we'll see where this goes to. Currently, this is continuing to print new highs here, plus 55% DOMH.
And this will probably end up
we're going to have a
halter.
Day 13. I got a feeling.
It's probably going to be a halter. Going to 12. You know what? That's actually a great Market Sniper. That's a great target because when I look at 12, it's 12.25 in particular. That's a great spot of resistance right about there. Yeah.
Hi.
I like that.
All right. Well, we're getting no shortage of action here 30 minutes before we open. I was thinking, hey, we're going to have a possible good trading day here. And then they dump even more news on us right ahead of the open. Giddy up. Cannot wait for that.
What else is
Okay.
coming?
What's that?
What else is coming,
Yeah, exactly. What else is next, right? 13. Okay, where do we want to go next? What do we want to do some more of these movers here? Let's see. We've done Dom H, Lippo, AIFF, SLQT.
Just one quick bullet point about
Yeah.
DOMH. RSI on the daily is 91.5.
Okay, so this thing is overbought then.
Oh, this thing is Stretch Armstrong. It's so extended.
Stretch Armstrong. All right. All right. Okay. I got SLXN here. This did pop yesterday in the after hours. Click is bleeding a little bit here today. I don't really see any news on this, although we are holding about 10% higher here. Looks like short interest. We've got 6% of the float shorted and 3.5 million shares in the float. So SLXN, was someone mentioning this one recently? I feel like we talked about, this must have been Wednesday and Thursday. We must have been talking about this, or we must have had some trading opportunities here on SLXN.
You can draw a trend line ever since the impulsive move to 174 and just, kind of draw it through the peaks. You can see that there's a bit of a trend line it's trying to go after. You can even see that it's been trying to recapture that VWAP for the past 20-30 minutes. Let's see if it can even get back above VWAP. If it does, we might even start trading better. Might even break that trend line. So I'd be watching this just for the recapture of VWAP. Then we might see some better movement.
Okay. Good stuff there. We also had SATL on the list here. This was Satellogic. This I know was off your space playlist.
Oh, yeah.
This actually had a fairly decent day yesterday. Looks like we're gearing up for another day of upside here today. Yep.
It wasn't on my list before, but it is on there now.
There we go. SATL. Okay. So a lot going on here. Where do you want to go next? Let's see. We've got 20 minutes till we open here. I think we can do ticker time if you want, or we can keep watching some of these stocks or taking a look at some of these stocks that are moving here in the pre-market. I'm going to hold off, I think. I'm going to not chase these moves 20 minutes before the open. I'll wait till we actually get the opening print here and see where that takes us.
Sounds good. I know that we don't talk about this one very much because it's not moving the way we want, but I'm still watching Telomere Farms. The pharmaceutical company that specializes in telomere research. That one's doing not too bad. It still looks interesting. I'm just waiting for it to do some bigger moves.
I did take some of this too. TELO. So I'm in this here. Looks like my price, by the way, $455. So we'll see where we end up going here. TELO. I think these longevity plays and theme is going to be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I got kind of a longer time horizon on this. This isn't necessarily a trade, and I've basically just started to nibble here, so I don't have a huge position.
Because it's like it's over $4. So if this thing kind of leaks, it could go down to $1, and I don't want to just keep adding and adding as it's doing that. I just want to put it in a little position in there and see what it does, and I'll make future decisions later. But I also see that we're getting a mention for BBAI, that it's starting to go.
Yeah, I took a look at that here. I know Buffalo by Bicycle wants to take a look at AMD. So let's do those two. We'll still do BBAI here, and then we'll do AMD, and we'll go from there. Here is your BBAI. We still have the levels that we talked about. I think this was maybe not yesterday or the day before, but recent levels here. Stock is down 3.7%, but it does look like it's trying to come up off the low. The interesting part about this pre-market low, look where that lines up to yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty much to the penny, the day low yesterday.
And it's on the daily chart. Yes, we are extended here. I'm just kind of waiting to see if we start to push up out of the open, because what we've the price action we've had here since last Wednesday was green day, red day, green day, red day. And it seems like we have a big impulsive move up, slight pullback the next day, big impulsive move up, slight pullback the next day. Get a little bit of a repeating pattern going here. So today I'd be curious to see if we have another more of an impulsive move up that takes us over 10.
Okay.
That's
See
what
if
I'd
we
be
get
curious.
that here. BBAI.
That's what I'd be waiting to see. And then AMD, you wanted to look at?
Yep. AMD is next. Buffalo by bicycle.
All right.
Look, I mean, I'm just going to start off with this. I'm going to ask the obvious question out loud here. Where's the bottom in AMD? Right. That's really what I'm kind of looking for here. Where is the tradable bottom here in AMD? Is it 100? That's only
Probably.
9 points away.
Probably. I mean, if you go to like, you do 103, that seems like a pretty interesting level. But I think 100 being the psych level that it is, that might actually be the better one. And it could trade slightly beneath 100 before it recaptures it and turns around. I only have like previous highs and lows to draw on because I don't really have any special moving averages or anything like that to tell me that it's going to start turning around. MACD isn't even really telling me that this is starting to turn around yet. So I don't know when that turnaround is or what price it's going to be that finally does it. But it seems to me like $100 is an interesting spot for some support to kick in. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see here on AMD. Buffalo by bicycle. What are you looking for out of AMD? Curious on that one. Also, PDYN getting mentioned here. I know this has been a decent day trader for us recently. And actually, this daily chart here looking pretty good, don't you think? Looks like not bad. Looks like we really did carve out some nice support here at 8. Previous resistance now acting as support. And we've recently taken out this 1185 high. I've got a near-term high here of just shy of 15.
Oh, yeah.
You can see where this stock has come from here. This 15 to 1530 actually looks like a pretty decent level. What do you think here, PDYN?
Yeah.
What AI name?
I think it wants 15.
Okay.
It just, there's no guarantee that we're going to get there. But when I see that we were rejected right at that low back from, June of 2022, there's just 5. I mean, I don't even know exactly what that price was, but it looks like it was only a matter of a handful of cents. Like 1503 was the low, and so that's 8-cent difference there. I feel like if we do trade up and get close to 15 again, that's going to be a level that's going to try and take out. So let's see what we get. I think that's going to be a level that's going to try for it. I may not get it today, maybe this week, but that's definitely going to be a level to watch for. $15 even. Big level.
Okay, sweet. We'll see here if we get that on PDYN. All right, really quickly here, I'm open to other names that you folks want to take a look at. Let's do it. Brian is saying SPY. Brian, we looked at SPY. We can go back there. Let me see how some of these other names are settling here. Dom H, of course, this is the news about the Trumps joining the board, immediately doing a private placement and a cash dividend. I mean, this definitely... I know it's working in the sense that it's trading to the upside here. And if anyone in the group ended up trading this, well, I'm going to give you some sound effects here. But this almost feels like money laundering to me.
Yeah. Do a capital raise, immediate special dividend. And then you're telling everybody that the Trumps are on the board. Oh, let's get this thing jacked up.
So I look, I don't know what's going on here. I'm literally just speculating. But I say that, just be careful here on this name. I know some of these things that look like they're going to the moon. Things already put in a huge move here. Just be careful. Just be careful. I'm not sure what to make of that news so far. Also, really quickly, I wanted to check in on Apple and Baba. We had news there about an AI tool for China users of the iPhone. Looks like 231.5 was the high there. Apple's come in a little bit, still holding just shy of 1% higher. That actually had a pretty good effect on the NASDAQ too. NASDAQ here is down 0.7, but is up off the lows. Let's see what Baba did. Remember, David Tepper, we actually talked about this on the happy hour last night. David Tepper, his most recent portfolio moves were to sell a lot of traditional big tech and add a lot of China. And now we're getting another pop here. That was at the end of the year. China's actually made a pretty decent move. Now we're getting more of a pop on top of that. Just kind of looking at Baba here, I almost wonder if 118, 120 is the top there.
And when did he release that, which had, basically all his holdings, his positions as of December 31st?
So that document that I share here, let me see if I can bring it up here. I can give you some context for the rest of the group here so you guys know what I'm talking about. I basically shared a tweet yesterday. Here it is. Basically shared a tweet yesterday that shared one of the portfolio statements. Now, it is worth noting that the date on this statement here is December 31st. So this is as of the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the questions you had there, 13?
Well, just how much. It was something about the point I was making is like this isn't a very old document relative to the moves we've already had. Well, it is, because if you look at December 31st in BABA, you can see that all this move that we've had here, this movement since it based, that's all happened. So he's telling us, look what I just did. It's not.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you said this really wasn't very old. It is stale. I don't know that I would really consider it old. Okay. But you bring up a fair point here. The reported price for the BABA holdings, and I'm not sharing this. I beg your pardon. The reported price for the BABA holdings here is $84.79. So 13, just to kind of go back to your example, we're currently at 113. So are you thinking that he might be trimming into this move, or is that something that we should expect?
Okay, so I guess I would be wondering, why is he releasing this information now? It's almost 45 days old almost.
And I'm sorry, just to be clear here, this was not him. This was just a post that I saw on Twitter. So it's not necessarily him doing it. I just wanted to mention this because recently we've seen traditional or American big tech move down. We've seen China move up, and it looks like Tepper was positioned for that. So that was really all I was trying to get across here. And then I'm just wondering if there's any more here in BABA or where this train stops. Sure looks like 118, 120 near-term top here.
Sure. I would agree with that. It looks like we could double top this. I mean, I think the release of that information is probably getting people excited, and they're just not paying attention to the fact that this is 45 days old, his positions. So it makes the tweet makes it seem like he just made these moves and they're 45 days old. So I think deception is a strong word to use, but I feel like this is I feel like this is getting people excited over the wrong thing. He's probably taking profits in this, whereas that tweet would excite people to start buying.
Yeah. I mean, it looks to me like what he did was he added around the 200-day. And you're talking about a super successful money manager. I would imagine that they're adding sizable positions on support and then selling it near resistance. So to your point, maybe there's not a whole lot of room left here.
Yeah, it's congratulations on him. He did a great job, when he got into these trades. But I think a lot of the meat has already been gnawed off the bone.
Okay.
That's just the way I'm looking at it.
Whoa. Okay, that was just I was going to say that was just a little bit of a candle calculation there. That was a pretty huge swing there. Okay.
There was a mention on SEV. Sorry, on Serve.
Serve, yeah. Izzy here saying I could be wrong, but he added more to BABA from the first time. Yeah, he did. He added to BABA, I believe, twice since taking the initial position. But nonetheless, the one of the points that we were making there is that the stocks moved almost 30 points from his entry price. So I think at this point you'd probably expect maybe some profit taking there. Okay.
Yeah, my concern is that people are looking at this and going, "Wow, he's really heavily into China stocks. I better start buying those now." And I think they're all late. They're going to be the ones. They're going to be the ones that he sells to.
Retail is often late. Serve here. This was getting mentioned here. I saw one mention earlier. Serve up. Serve is not up. It is down 3% here in the pre-market. Did we have any news on this? No. So I'm not sure why this one was getting mentioned.
Well, I think they just wanted to, throw it out there for a particular time. But maybe that's my understanding of why they're mentioning it. Because when you look at the daily chart, 24 is a pretty interesting spot. $24. 2 times we've been up there in the past, in the past year, and rejected both times, big time rejected. So I would think the fact that we're still trickling our way, making our way slowly back up to 24, that next visit could be the one that, takes us over 24 and goes higher. We mentioned before how many times, where a certain level continues to get hammered. And every time that if the repeat visits are more frequent. This is going to be a more frequent visit than the one back from July of last year. So we had July 30th last year. We had January 6th, and now we're about to come up to it the very next month. So this next visit up here could be the one that takes it over the 24.
Okay, good stuff there. All right. Any other stocks that we want to take a look at? Are we missing any?
We were getting asked about Walmart. You want to?
Yeah, let's do Walmart here. I just want to check in on Dom H. This is actually holding above $10 here. I mean, this is a crazy move.
That's a great one. Trump and dump. That's a good one. I'm pretty.
Yeah, I mean, Trump and dump. We might actually have to use that.
That's great. I like it.
We might actually have to use that here. Here you go. Shopify. This has had a wild pre-market too. Looks like got to be quick on that one. This completely closed that gap. Okay, Walmart was the other one that you folks. We talked about this on Happy Hour too.
Yep.
My key takeaway here is that this thing is definitely extended. But man, I've tried playing a regression back to the mean trade on this, and I've only donated money. To the Walmart fund trying to short this thing. It has not gone well. One of the comments that our chatters made yesterday is that normally Walmart really does a pretty good job staying fairly close to its 200-day moving average. That's the blue line that you're seeing here on the screen. And this going back to 2020 to 2022 here, or excuse me, 2024 here, you could see how Walmart really just kind of stayed around that 200-day. It is completely ramped here. I got to think that this stock seems like it just goes up every day. I got to think that the next trade here is a move back down. Hasn't worked for me yet. What do you think here on Walmart?
Well, one of the big takeaways I got from that discussion on Walmart yesterday in the happy hour was how they are really getting into a lot of private label branding with their products. And they're taking those private label products and they're selling them into other stores or having other stores sell them for Walmart in areas where they don't have a large presence, more rural areas where they're not building like a large Walmart. They're selling their products to smaller stores so they can, people that want access to Walmart's products are able to get them. That is, one of the reasons folks in Happy Hour were thinking there's a disconnect from its, traditional seasonality where we would start to see some pullbacks. They just continue to do well because they've made the right moves to get their products sold in other stores where they would normally see pullback from their seasonality. So I think that's why that's what really stood out to me. That's why it's still continuing to be on a run. They're just continuing to execute. I don't know where the pullback is because of the comment we just made about the disconnect on seasonality.
Yep.
But if you do have some kind of regression coming in here, let me just give you a level where we could see some support come in. I mean, shoot, $96 that area. That looks like that could be where the price could come into. Very close to its 20-day SMA.
Yeah.
The 20 SMA is at 97. That would be my best guess as to how far down we come, because we might not go much further than that. And if we do start to trade beneath the 50-day SMA, there's a very good chance it won't last long based on the past few times we went beneath it. So just take everything into consideration. This last move here through 96 was really, really great. But I still think that would be where it could potentially come down to that consolidation around the $96 area.
Yeah. Wild stuff here. Lion saying, Walmart looks like Palantir, which is not a sentence that I thought I'd be saying. But man, oh man, sure does. By the way, Palantir here, still in a 116 handle. Looks like this was as high as 117.50 earlier here today. Palantir still continuing to the upside. Okay, I'm going to flip over to the main. We got just a couple of minutes left here. 2 minutes till the open. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace here. I'm going to step away one more time before we open here, 13. What stock do you want me to pull up in the meantime?
Let's see if I can. I mean, I think we traded this one earlier this week or yesterday. M-Goal, or was it last week? 81.
Oh, that's that crappy penny stock.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put this up here. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Okay, then I'll just take a quick look at this one here. I mean, as I recall, this had some news as to why it was moving the other day when we were trading it or looking at trading it. see SEC approval for business combination. Appoints a new Julian Groves to board of directors. I can't exactly remember when we traded this, but let's take a look at the chart here and see if there's anything that I can draw on for levels. And I'll tell you, if this thing doesn't have any volume today, then we're not going to be able to get to any of the targets we have on here. So let's see what we got. Looks like we're leaking into the open here. Got about how many minutes? Less than a minute left now before the open. I got to be honest with you. If this continues to go south, it looks like you might get some support around 44 cents. But even then, I don't have a whole lot of hope for this one at the moment. It just doesn't look great to me. I would think that somewhere around 44 to 40 cents, you're going to maybe get a short-term bounce. But if you're looking for it to get back up to 81.5, where it was yesterday in the pre-market, I don't know that we're going to necessarily see that. So that's what I got there for MGOL. These are, these penny stocks. Sometimes you just don't want to hold on to these. Sometimes you do, but a lot of times if you haven't done the research into it, you don't know what they are or what they do, or if they don't have a good cash position or they have no no revenue.
Ding, ding, ding.
And they do this.
Okay. Sorry, this morning really kind of went off the rails for me, but I'm ready to go.
Your mic just exploded with high volume.
Is it okay?
Well, I mean, when you came back on, it sounded really loud. Maybe it's just me and I need to turn myself down. But
maybe I was just excited.
You sounded excited. All right.
Okay. Let's find something here to trade today.
DOMH, hot out the gate, probably halting. And it is. So there you go. LIPO, it's kind of neutral at the moment. AIFF, that popped, but only got as high as about 450 or 448, actually, and before it came back in. Still looking to try and take out that 450 area. The high in the pre-market was 480. Select quote down. Might get some support around 541, but this has a large float. We might not see a whole lot of upside in this one today.
Okay.
Mobileye, this one is moving out of the gate here. Already up about 25 cents. And take a look at
SLQT. This is that select quote.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like just tried to get above the VWAP and stopped.
Yeah. Remember, this is the one that has 140 or 34 million share float.
Amazon ripping right here out of the open. Good stuff, Izzy.
Let's see here.
Apple looks like that is continuing to trade higher here after that pullback. I wonder if Baba's doing the same thing. No, Baba is pulling back here.
Got some pretty wild weather outside, so just letting you know, if you see me disappear, it's probably because of lightning.
Oh, you're having a storm, huh?
I'm having a storm.
Lucky you.
Yeah, Mobileye is really going now. We had a pre-market high of 1849. We might go right to that. SLQT lower. AIFF losing VWAP. LIPO trying to bounce off the 65 EMA.
Apple continuing higher here. SMCI bouncing right out of the open as well. Here is your LIPO. Looks like we're trying to reclaim the pre-market low there.
Weren't they supposed to release? This is Supermicro. Weren't they supposed to release their
earnings are after the close today?
Oh, after the close. Okay.
Yep. Here's Google. This is absolutely ripping out of the open here. Google.
Yeah, that one had pulled back pretty well. So
yep, sure did.
We're getting a little bit more upside there.
SPY trading higher here out of the open. Sorry, I had to mute myself for the cough there. I think I might have done that a little early. Shopify, interestingly enough, we talked about that. Really kind of getting everything back here, but it's really unable to continue to go from here on Shopify. Oh, never mind. Here we go.
Yeah, let's see if it gets that 128 I mentioned earlier.
Dan says, just sold one of my kidneys today. What stock should I buy?
Yes.
Did you say yes?
No, I was just going to say yes to Tom V. He's asking if DOMH hold it is on a halt. Yes,
it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
TEM. We just talked to David about TEM here today. That continued to rip. By the way, Affirm, which was one of David's, that was awesome. Gave us a target here. Affirm looks like it's pulling back. We'll see if we get a dip and rip opportunity here in ticker AFRM.
All right. Looks like LIPO is trying to turn around. Got some support from the 65 EMA. Looking to test VWAP here pretty soon. It looks like.
Looks like BABA shares are bouncing as well.
I have VWAP at 477 for LIPO. See what we get. How's VIX? Let me take a look at that in just a tick here. I just want to see if LIPO is going to touch that VWAP. It got pretty close already, but
yeah, 481. That actually would be one to watch here. Good call, LIPO.
Mm-hmm.
Shopify 125. So that is continuing higher here on Shopify.
That does that. I'll take a look.
BABA is also moving higher here. Did some of this BABA here. See if we get what's like. I want like 114. I'm not sure if we get there though.
Nice Buffalo. Well done.
Oh, little scalp there on BABA. Wanted a little bit more. Might still get it, but I'm going to take that off.
Yeah, so VIX are just above 16. It's been getting some pretty good support from the 15 area.
AIFF?
So if we see VIX come down to 15 again, it might we could see some selling the following day, possibly, because 15 seems to have been the area where the VIX has been turning around lately. So that's what I see with that.
AIFF rejected right here at VWAP. I'd watch to see if we can cross above that. Otherwise, might not be a trade in there.
DOMH is open and inside candle at the moment.
DOMH is okay. You guys are all over that one, huh? DOMH looks like that's one of the top traders here today.
All right, I think
Dom H pulled back to the VWAP there. I'd be careful with that one if you're playing it. I'd probably just stay away from that one, honestly.
Basnaldo is mentioning, I think either you're mentioning Taiwan Semiconductor or a ticker that looks similar and we haven't seen it yet, but TSCM is what he's saying. Let me see here. TSCM. I don't have that ticker, so I
was going to say that almost sounds like Taiwan Semiconductor.
Right, that's what I was saying. I think is what he's asking. So, ticker for that's TSM. Doesn't look like that's really doing anything right now. However, this daily candle.
Sorry to interrupt, but AIFF did go through that VWAP there. We'll see if that gets rolling here. AIFF.
Yeah, and TSM recaptured its 50-day SMA just now. So that could be. I guess that's what you're trying to point out to us. The next step would be to see if it can,
actually, this looks good.
Get above the 20-day SMA, which I have at 209.04.
Here's LIPO. This tried to go back up to its VWAP, just got smacked there again. LIPO.
Jonathan Cooper, no, I didn't see the gold run on the Bank of England. I did not. Conditionally accepted mentioning Tractor Supply. I think you mean the Tractor Supply Company. That's
TSCO, right? Tractor Supply. Maybe that's what he meant.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
I don't know. I'm just speculating. I guess I'm asking.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to stay SLQT. So your select quote, this went higher than the pre-market. AIFF, this is continuing here. I'd watch 450 as the next spot here. AIFF.
I don't particularly like the way the chart looks for Tractor Supply, TSCO. I think, this is the first time in a while. This is the first time in a while the 50-day SMA has even touched the 200, and it doesn't look like it's a good touch. It looks like it's going to have a death cross here, especially with the price underneath the 200. Death cross looks like it's coming soon, unless we can see the price recover and take out both those moving averages probably today, if not this week. If it does, there's a gap to fill.
SLQT here, right to that 620 high. Looks like Shopify pulled back off that high. Apple here holding at about 231.
Buyers really stepped into SLQT and left that heavy.
Yeah, they sure did, man.
They just took out the pre-market high and everything.
EA, by the way, Jared, who was it that was trading EA with me? We're getting more of a move here today. Let me actually manage this position. I'm going to trim some of this and leave my last trailer on here.
Getting a mention that SOPA is ripping. Society Pass. So this one had a after hours high of 345, and we are making our way right up to there. Now, if I look at the price ladder, I can see that there's a good number of sellers that start to show up at about 340, all the way up to 350. There's a bunch of selling that's just ready to have their limit orders filled in that 10-cent range. So that's right in the middle of that 345 high that we did in the after hours yesterday. So could see some resistance there. Otherwise, we're just going to have a big breakout. Good mention on SOPA.
Trimmed EA into this up move. Got a trailer on looking for 140 would be my next sell spot here on EA 140. That trade, and actually that can't possibly lose money on that. So good stuff there. EA. That is the third leg of that. All three legs have worked. That's rare. DOMH. This came back into the VWAP. We'll see. Excuse me. We'll see if we can recapture 980 there. AIFF. This ended up working, by the way.
Nice.
So I didn't hit this nearly as high. I should have stayed in for this 450 move. We did pop above it. Watch now this 460, 470. Guy, I can't believe it's going to go in 10 cents. 460, 470, 480. Your next spots here on AIFF.
It's trying to break out at 480. They're bringing in sellers.
There we go. Down. There we go. I'm actually pissed I'm not in this now. Good stuff here, AIFF. Jim Ferrari, out AIFF 40 cents. Jim, register ring, do it up. We got it. Izzy, register ring for Amazon, giddy up. Ivan, EA, done.
Looks like LIPO might end up going lower here. SOPA, that just broke the after hours high I was mentioning earlier.
Oh yeah, this looks bad. Let me bring up SOPA. I don't think I brought that up when you guys were mentioning that earlier. Right to the after hour high yesterday. Congrats to, you know what? Congrats to anyone that hit that one. I didn't have that one on my watch list, but nice job there.
So we got right to that pre-market high in AIFF, and then it pulled. Now what we're going to want to see is if it's going to be able to hold up here and try to push over that 4181 that it now has. Keep an eye on the volume. I think that's going to tell you the whole story. Yeah, SOPA, that was a great one.
Yeah, that was really good.
Hey, Mike, good morning.
Morning, Mike.
Select quote just moved into new highs.
There are so many things moving that I can't possibly even keep up with all of them. This is really good stuff. And congrats to whoever hit select quote. I know you were talking about that one. I didn't trade this one.
Yeah, I didn't want to touch this one either. The float was just a little too heavy for me, and wasn't expecting this kind of move. But let's see, what was the short interest on that? Let's see.
BABA and AIFF, the two day trades here. The third trade that I made was also booking some gains on the EA move. So I've actually been fairly active here, and I feel like I'm still slower than you guys. TEM, what a rip on this. The Pelosi push still in effect here. It's like a 76 high there.
Really big pull in AIFF.
Thinking about it, AIFF is a better company than MP3. Oh, that's a file extension joke right there. Wow. I get that one.
SOPA almost at 4.
Oh, you know what? One up. You guys that were on SOPA, I think that was probably the big winner here today. AIFF, big pullback to the VWAP, by the way.
And then it's really pulling now. Wow. That's how these things work. All right, so LIPO, that did break down. Next support's going to be the 200 EMA. That'll be around 372, 373. No position in that one. Looks like DOMH, just beneath VWAP. This one looks like it could end up going lower too. I don't like the way the MACD looks.
DOMH, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mobileye coming off of the highs, testing VWAP now.
I'm gonna, don't forget, folks, and we're not even close to that, but I know there's a lot of action right now. Get your option plays ready because we have Anne Marie today. So start thinking about that with all this movement that we have. What else do we see around here? EA continuing. That's cool.
All right, select quote coming back up.
SLQT.
Mm-hmm. Looks like AIFF is trying to recover as well.
Yeah, that one might not be done, folks. That one might not be done.
And you might be right.
That Paul Pelosi is a legit trader. Oh, gosh, Crow. I haven't seen anything peculiar in the options. How's Amazon doing, Izzy? Okay, so Izzy, really good stuff capturing that impulse move. We did pull back to the VWAP. I almost wonder if this can go higher here. We probably want the market to cooperate. Don't we spy at the highs? This is actually fairly interesting. So it looked like we were going to be a little bit weak in the pre-market, but higher we go. And for whatever reason, my keyboard's not working.
You one thing you could maybe ask Anne Marie about is if there's an option play in EIX as we approach the low from September of 2020.
Okay, we can add EIX to that.
This thing is just, from the
what though,
California fires, this thing has been just so hammered that I think there could be some kind of rebound coming.
I will say that the volume is, the open interest is okay, but the volume is less than ideal.
Okay.
So
take care, hustle and bustle.
Yeah, take care of yourself, man. Good luck with the houses selling. We can ask her. I just don't know if that's going to be liquid enough for us to get a trade. But
okay.
I did ask you to come up with tickers, and you're giving me a ticker, so it would be really kind of crappy of me to throw it back in your face there. We'll ask her about EIX. We'll see if we get a trade set up there. And then the other thing is here is we were running that poll earlier today. Here we go. The results are in. How many rate cuts do you think we will see in 2025? The top vote getter is 2 at 37%. 1 rate cut checks in second at 31%. No cuts gets 21%, and 3 or more cuts gets 9%. So there you go. Thank you for voting in our poll. Really appreciate it. AIFF continuing to push to the highs. Oh, never mind. It pulled right as I said that. So this is a wild one here.
Mm-hmm. And it's trading beneath VWAP now.
Yep, and it's pulling. I almost am wondering if I should buy that pull. So I didn't get filled there. I put my order out at 4:30. I didn't get filled. It's grinding higher. I'm going to cancel that order. But I do think buying the pullbacks here on some of these day trades seems to be the move. Danny is mentioning GameStop. Did we get craziness on GameStop?
No way.
GameStop's up 1% here. Actually, not terrible. I don't think there's anything going on here, but the action not horrific. Think any of this GameStop themed crypto. Oh, there's a GameStop themed crypto out there. Rallied 50% after Ryan Cohn posts an intriguing photo with Bitcoin bull Michael Saylor. Okay, BBAI getting mentioned here. Are we ripping in Big Bear? Yes, we are ripping. Oh my God, on volume. Is there news? Is something going on here? Great stuff here, BBAI. And yes, it looks like we just got a PR here. Artificial intelligence influence on healthcare market expected to generate revenue of $610 billion with a B by 2034. Big Bear AI trading higher on this.
Well, if we get to 10, then we have that repeating pattern I was mentioning earlier, the red day, green day, red day, green day.
BBAI.
I'd be looking at 1050 as I think I have 1050 as my next upside target. Let me double check here.
Thinking about it, mentioning TKO apparently for 2 weeks, and we've missed it every day until today. Sorry about that. Thinking about it.
So BBAI first stop
Really
is
good call, though.
going to be 925. We've already seen that level be a big player. After that, 10 and then 1050.
I feel like the group coordinated here to try and make me roll through as many tickers as possible. Does that scan with you guys? Because that's what it seems like. We have so many stocks moving around this morning.
That is your conspiracy to solve.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so waiting for, select quote, oddly enough, the one I had the least conviction on, doing the best out of the three that I was looking at, LIPO, AIFF, and SLQT. Select quote, the heavy floater, is doing the best. Although, looks like AIFF is trying to push up. And
sorry. No, go ahead. Let me just mention here, BBAI. If this Mo continues, I really do. In fact, I'm actually going to mark this on the chart just to remind me. Horizontal ray 971. That marks the intraday high from yesterday. I actually think BBAI can get there if this thing gets going. Let me go to AIFF because I agree. I don't think this one's done either. 13.
Yeah, it really needs to get a good push in volume to go over 450. That seems to be the big resistance area right now. No closes over 450 yet. So we need to start seeing that with AIFF.
Okay, right here at the VWAP again. Let's see, we just lost the VWAP. Lost it again there. Let's see if we can get this here. There we go. I'm going to try some here. See if we bounce AIFF. I've already made some money on this, so I'm kind of using profits, but I'm going to keep the stop tight because I don't want to give this back. Let's see if we bounce here from VWAP. Got VWAP here at 429 in trading view, 430 in the broker. Those are about the same.
Yeah, going right down to that 420 bid. Hopefully that doesn't get chewed up, because if it does, then this thing's going to probably go down under 4.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we end up getting a spot here. I'm going to put my stop out there right beneath my entry. We'll see if I get stop hunted. I've already made a successful trade on this, so we're okay. And I'll sell into any pop here. It would be for some more continued upside here. I'd love to see it get above 450, but maybe even 455 right there. We'll see. Volume is decreasing. That's kind of got me worried about this. We'll see if we fall here and stopped out. That's okay. Still green on this name. 2 for 3 on this. I don't think it's done. We'll see if this sets up again. I'll wait it out though.
Crow mentioning FLYE.
This is crazy. And there it goes.
I was just going to say, this just did not just shake you out, did it?
AIFF did. Yes, it did.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, it did. It's okay.
When it does that.
But you know what though? I knew looking at this, I'm like, if you put a stop pretty tight beneath that, it might end up shaking you out. That's all right. Like I said, I've already hit this twice, so I don't need to be greedy here. I'd rather be safe.
Yeah. DOMH just looks like it's going to end up going lower. MACD just looks like we're just going to unless it reverses here, it looks like we are going lower.
Uber bouncing. You think we got a trade there, Izzy, on UBER, Uber?
Select quote has no chill. This thing is just absolutely taken off. No red candle.
Man, this was a good one. Yeah.
Looks like some support's coming in for DOMH. MGOL and SLXN. Those are, I don't know why. I need to take this off my screen. MGOL was not a good one.
That's a penny stock.
Yeah. SATL. That fell out of the open, found support at the 200 EMA, and now has recaptured VWAP. Big seller at 5. So if we get through there, we could see this go up to 515, 520.
Really quickly, while I was dealing with the workmen, did you come up with any crazy targets on SLQT?
No, but do you want some?
Kind of, because I'm wondering if this thing is done yet. The trading action and the volume tells me that probably not. Maybe this does make another move above the 686 high. Basically, what I'm wondering, 13, is 8 possible today?
9 is possible today.
Oh, okay. Well, so that's a yes. By the way, AIFF ended up dropping below my stop there. So again, sometimes your first stop is your best stop. I'm not done. I actually have it on another screen. I'm going to keep watching this in case we get that volume to start ramping again. Volume's kind of dried up a little bit on AIFF. Looking at SLQT, you actually have the opposite here. We actually just had a volume expansion. Let's see if we can get back in here. I've got VWAP at 614. I don't know if it gets back down there.
If you want, look at SLQT, turn on the 65 EMA and hit a monthly.
Boom. I don't have any data. Oh, nope, don't have data. So you must have more candles drawn than I do. What's the value that it's at?
$9.
Exactly. Okay, so there we go. Well, so that's the level that we were kind of looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Intel getting mentioned? Is that moving here today? Oh, how about that? Intel actually putting in a move.
They've been getting a lot of positive reviews on their new CPUs that are being found in their the laptops, so that they have them in. So a lot of positive news coming out on that front, that their CPUs are the most powerful and fastest ever. So
okay,
that's why it's getting a little bit of a lift.
I was going to say that reads like good news. Sounds like good news to me. AIFF maybe recapturing the VWAP right now. BBAI, this starting to trade back up too. Watch this one in case this moves above 9. BBAI.
Yeah, I picked some BBAI up at 874 just to jump in, because I think this is going to hit that 925 area today. It looks like it's trying to push up there. I'll put on a trailing stop after it gets to a certain level, but I think we're headed up to 925.
Okay, you got 862 as your VWAP right there.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of sellers that's really come in to play at $9. So we're going to need to see volume expand once we get up there. But I think 925 is possible. Okay,
sounds good. Newbie trader in the chat, what's happening with Dom H? Well, first of all, we're on the backside of the move. It does look like it's trying to hold here at the 15 EMA on the 5. But the news here, Dominari Holding shares are trading higher after the company announced a 13.5 million registered direct and private placement. The company also added John Jr. and Eric Trump to the board. So that's your news that caused the spike. Looks like we're having a corrective move. Wait for this to actually settle. We might have an opportunity to trade this at one of those levels. So that's what's going on here with Dom H. DOMH, I guess I should say. I like to pronounce it though. AIFF teasing like it's not done yet.
Yeah, and that DOMH, that was putting in some lower wicks that may indicate that we're trying to turn around here. Still don't like the way the MACD looks, but it looks like we are slowing down the selling a little bit here. But I'm not going to say that that's for sure what's happening. I want some more confirmation. And here we go with BBAI trying to hit that 9, trying to get through that wall there.
Yep, sure is.
Looks like you're in this with me, R Alpha. Let's go. See what we can get out of this. I got my trailing stop on just in case.
There it goes right through 9. Nice job.
Tom B, actually, I don't have a Samsung monitor. That I've been looking at getting their 56-inch monitor because it's just absolutely phenomenal and I want it, but I'm waiting for it to be a little bit more appropriately priced. If I would consider a top-of-the-line monitor, I've always thought BenQ had really good monitors. That's BENQ.
I do have a Samsung monitor. It is my main display. I'm going to get you the actual model number here. It's awesome. It is a 4K monitor with 144 hertz refresh. It is no joke. It is the Odyssey G7 4K monitor. I love it. It's the best of the 4 that I have sitting on my desk.
It's funny because the monitor I'm looking at is another Odyssey. I think it's like the G9 Neo or something like that.
Their Odyssey line is excellent.
Yeah.
So I only have experience with one of the models, but it's excellent. BBAI continuing higher here, 917, your high print on that. That was a marvelous call, whoever brought BBAI up on the second push higher.
Yep, and just a little bit more, and I'll be hitting my 925 target. We're just 3 cents away.
Yeah, you are.
Maybe I just take. No, maybe you don't have to. It's really just like how you want 920. Okay, there it is. I'm out.
Way to go, 13. We're going to give you a register ring too.
Oh, man.
Just a great move. You know what? Let me bring, I'm sorry, I'm watching it on a different screen. Let me put it on the main screen here because BBAI, we're getting the move right. Who's in BBAI?
Well, I'm not anymore. Diamond Hotline, I have 3 monitors. They're all 27s. One's a 2K, the other are 1080p's.
JG saying, forget the brands. It's pointless. I completely disagree with you. I actually currently I have a Scepter monitor, Samsung, an Acer, and an MSI monitor. They're all a little bit different. Clearly, the Samsung and the MSI are better than the other two. I also have had a good experience with BenQ. Actually, I bought my mother a BenQ monitor as a Christmas gift, and she's still using it. AIFF, by the way, this is continuing higher here. Well, it looks like we pegged a couple of these. Wish I was still in this one. Okay, it looks like several of you folks are on BBAI. Yev, this guy, Aura, Chris.
Nice.
Hellcat, you're in calls. Hellcat, what's your exit plan on those calls? Just out of curiosity. Because that actually might be something for a swing that I should look into.
So
now you've got me thinking about that. Sorry, 13.
No worries. It's still hammering that 925, but that was an area that I was, concerned that we might get that resistance because we get to 935 and we pull and we ended up closing that candle beneath it. Now we're trying to get back above 925. If we don't get above 925 in the next several minutes, and we're above it now, but if we pull again, this might need some more time later on in the day before it takes that move up through 925 and holds. If it doesn't do it here, could do it here.
AIFF looks like it's trying to get above 455. I did see some size there on the offer. They hit it. They printed the 455 level, but they didn't clear the offer out there. We'll see if they do it this time around. They're on it. They're hitting it. They're printing 455s and reject it again. We'll see if the third time is the charm there. By the way, as I just kind of hinted at, look who it is. Anne-Marie Band checking in early. Remember, folks, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. And Anne-Marie takes that seriously. We love it, Anne-Marie. Let's start coming up with some tickers. Anne-Marie, one that 13 suggested was EIX, power company there connected to the California fires. The open interest looks like it's decent, but the value might be a little light. So maybe take a look at EIX and see if you can set up a trade on that one. By the way, AIFF, this is continuing here. I think this does print 5. Ed, I think you called a possible 5 print on this earlier. I hope I'm getting that right. I think you're spot on with that.
Yeah, this has been a really great, good one. BBAI, when you mentioned, this BBAI, I'm just going to be watching because I made the case when we were looking at the monthly chart that this thing could be going much higher. You remember all that conversation we had?
Yeah.
We're looking for 10 next. That's what I want to see.
Okay. AIFF here, continuing. Captain Cloudy saying, get out of it green. Yeah, make sure. Look, we've had a lot of action here today, folks. A lot of action here today. It's been, in fact, at some points, it's been too busy for me to even keep up with the tickers. There are so many different plays that when you get your gains, don't be afraid to take them. Like I'm sitting here, I've traded AIFF 3 times here. I'm watching it push higher. I'm still green on the name. I got zero stress right now. Carmen, I think you called it palpitations earlier. Did I get that right? I like that. I don't have that right now. This is actually, I'm in a good spot right now mentally. Also seeing OMDS rip to the highs is also helping, by the way.
AIFF, we have that 180 area that we've already seen big rejection at twice, once in the pre-market, once in the regular session. This next visit up to that level, we need to break out. Otherwise, we're going to see a third rejection. I think that's going to be it for this one. So we need to go over 480 and probably even print 5 or higher, because otherwise I think the interest might just get lost in this one if we can't get over 480.
Okay. Anne Marie, if you're still looking for tickers, SMCI has been brought. Did I type the ticker? You got to type it in right, Ryan. Come on. SMCI is one that's been brought up a number of times by our chat. They, of course, report earnings tonight. This says it's unconfirmed, but that's for another report. They do report earnings here tonight, so that might be a play too. Ticker SMCI.
Is he saying GSAT is halted? I pull that one up.
Yeah, let me see. Let me try readjusting my halt tool. Carmen, okay, you're still here. Yes, too much adrenaline in the day trade mode. Carmen, I'll be honest with you. Look, I think what she's saying here is actually really, really good. I know with this group, very focused on day trading. We're often talking about active trades. I get loaded up on coffee as soon as I wake up, and then I work out and I get all feeling great. But Carmen, I think that you're right. If I can find ways to limit the adrenaline pump, especially right around the open, and eliminate some of the emotions, no matter what they are, I find that I do better. And so I the reason I'm highlighting this is because I think that if you identify that the adrenaline might be too much, it's okay to scale it back. So anyway, Carmen, I like that. I'm trying to do that here myself. And actually today I'm having quite a good day.
I'm built a little bit differently. The adrenaline is what
we all are,
alive.
though. I think that's an important point. We all are built a little bit differently. And I think we need to listen to ourselves then.
No, you guys you're absolutely right, especially when it comes to, the emotions being involved and with the adrenaline, you can make a lot of mistakes, and it's great to, have a level head on your trades. But man, this kind of movement, this kind of volatility, it's what keeps me it keeps me alive. I love this stuff.
Oh my God, AIFF, folks, we did it.
There it is.
Ed, you called 5 earlier, Ed. I'm pretty sure it's you. I hope I'm quoting the right person, because otherwise I look like a dumbass. AIFF up to 5 here. Yep. This is a winner. It's going to halt here 506 if it holds.
It's going to halt, and this was the break that we needed to get right up to that 480. Had to break out there, or else this was done. That was excellent. Well done on those trades, folks.
Great job here. The entire chat absolutely doing it right now. Absolutely doing it right now. God, you guys are just...
Yeah, Marcus, if your brain's not exploding, you don't feel like you're alive. I love it.
Anne Marie says we all need to invoke Yoda each day. Anne Marie, this is just serendipitous that you said this here, but I've actually queued up a Yoda meme for some trolling behavior if we see that. So stay tuned. I'm gonna be quick on the draw with that one.
New highs and BBAI for the day.
We've got so many opportunities here today.
Still 3.5 minutes left for this to hold above the 925 level. So we could still come back in, but this is a nice move back over 925 again. Still want to see 10 and 1050 eventually. Doesn't have to be today, but eventually I want to see it.
Mo here is asking, and we actually cover stocks that end up halting quite a bit here. Mo's asking, hold on to AIFF through the halt, right? Okay, first of all, I'm not holding it through the halt right now. I also, halt is generally speaking BBAI new highs. Halt, generally speaking, just an added area of risk there. What I would say is if you're going to do that, make sure you have some gains already booked. Because remember, what you're effectively saying, I'm betting right now that this is going to open higher and perhaps more importantly, not open much lower. If you book some of your gains, you lower your position size, you put some of the money in your pocket. Even if you do get the worst case scenario where the stock opens lower, you're probably not totally wiped out. So the way I would think about that is I would not consider holding unless you have gains booked going into it, but to each his own. I can't tell you what to do. Coca-Cola CEO on CNBC right now, for anyone that's interested in that. BBAI continuing to push highs here. Big size there at 940.
Yeah, and regarding the halt in AIFF, we have seen so many of these halt trades where the very first halt, usually the
CRB 1 sec 13.
When we unhalt out of that first one, it typically does go higher and into another halt. Sometimes we can pop higher and then sell right into after that halt and into another halt. It's just one of those things you have to be careful of and consider when we're trading these halts. A lot of times the first out of the first halt tends to be push a little bit higher. But there's always that, that chance that we can see those that initial push just gets sold right off and halt to the downside. So just be careful when you're doing these halts. You can, most of the time, that's out of that first halt, it's pretty good. There are those times where they do sell off right away. So just be careful. It looks like SLQT is trying to set up for the next move up. So as long as we hold VWAP, we might see another push to higher highs. But
by the way, Dom H lost that VWAP there. What did you call it earlier? A Trump and dump, Trump and pump. What was it?
That was it was a Trump and dump. Somebody was mentioning that in chat, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's sure seems like what you got here, Dom H. I hope nobody got caught in that one. If you hit that one on the way up, grats. But we tried to be a word of warning while it was running there. LFWD, this actually at the VWAP. The volume's got me concerned here, but the spot looks good.
Jane Smith, great mention, Zim. This actually just recaptured the 200-day SMA today.
Here, let me go to a bigger chart, and I'll walk with you on this, 13.
And now it's coming up to an important resistance level that I outlined long ago before we had the big moves, 2380. You can see that back in 2024, there were multiple occasions where that was the resistance area. There's a resistance area in the beginning of June, beginning of July, and in the middle of August, before we had a breakout in September, came back in, broke out again in November, went over almost a 30. Actually, we did hit 30 before we came back underneath that level. So 2380, very important level to watch for with Zim. Could be resistance again, could be a breakout level. Not sure yet.
Let's see. Right. Ryan, GSET and the NBA doing something. I'm interested in the GSET angle, maybe not the NBA angle. Just kidding. MDA, I think is what you meant. You typed NBA, but I think you meant MDA. MDA signs $1 billion contract with Globestar. It's got to be what you're talking about.
Isn't that from
MDALF?
Yesterday? Yeah. That's one of the space stocks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's from yesterday.
I was going to say, didn't you talk about MDALF yesterday?
Yep. Yeah, because on that news.
Gotcha. Okay. Sick. I just want to make sure I'm caught up with everything here. By the way, AIFF is open now. Higher we go, at least initially there. 538 your high print.
And there's the pull. That was the
right down to 5.
Warning.
Yep.
That was the word of warning. Don't know how lower it goes or if this gets bought up, but that was what I was trying to talk about there. We get this unhalt, we gap up, we go higher, but then we could see that selling. That's what happened. Now we didn't halt, so that's good news, and we held the 5, above that breakout level of 480. So as long as that holds, we could still push higher. SLQT, just waiting to see if we get a resolution of this price action here that looks pretty bullish. But it's really starting to slow down. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It looks like several chatters are mentioning TEM as that continues to rip here today. Remember, we talked with David Prince from T3 earlier today. TEM, one of his big plays there.
Okay. SLQT still making a little bit of a move here, but man, it's a lot slower than what it was.
I'll tell you what, I'm kind of wondering now.
What are you wondering?
I'm wondering if now this is our move to 8. What did you say? 8, 9? What was the number on this one? I asked you about this. I thought I said 8, and you're like, oh, actually, could go to 9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm almost wondering if this is the start of that move here.
Maybe.
Got this pretty extended from the VWAP. The volume is not what I wanted to see here. I'm getting cold feet on the buy here, guys. The GSAT CEO owns part of the Sacramento Kings, the NBA franchise. Okay. I'm not sure what the trade for that is, but okay, good stuff here. SLQT did take out that 650, is grinding higher here. The indecision, I'm not in it. Damn it. I should have bought that.
So if the Kings go to the playoffs or the finals, Does GSAT run?
Well, that I can tell you one thing that's not happening because the
Okay.
Kings just traded their best player to the Spurs.
Okay. All right. So here we are with BBAI coming down to under 9 now, approaching VWAP. So that was a really good trade. But for now, this is probably going to come in. We're going to want to see where this finds a base, because I still think at some point we're going to see double digits in the price. Just needs to get back above 925 and kind of hold up there. We've only got one 5-minute candle that actually closed above it. Everything else has either been rejected or went beneath it. That's all I'm looking for in BBAI right now. Still have some pretty good conviction that we're going to see double digits, especially if this is a Palantir competitor. But I'm only going to be day trading it. I don't want to hold it like Palantir.
I'd like to see BBAI really come in and then, test and actually hold this 891 VWAP. That's what I'd like to see from this pull here. Unsure if we get it. Long as that volume stays elevated, if we hold that level, I think this is a potential buy spot.
The Crow mentioning CSAI. It's got AI in the name, folks.
CS, Charlie Sandy AI?
Yep, and it's ripping right now.
Cloud structure?
Mm-hmm. And we just came right up to this after hours consolidation. So we could see some selling right about here, between 1160 and 12. Never mind, it just broke through that. Next level where there could be selling, 1240, 1245, and then another level is 1375, and then finally the high from yesterday, 1490.
Okay. CSAI.
Nice mention. That was a really good one.
Yeah, that really was. Let's see what else we got going on here. AIFF, that's still pulling a little bit.
SLQT lost VWAP. So
let's take a look here. That's select quote, right?
Mm-hmm. MACD does look like it's going to start to roll over. So we may see some more downside in SLQT. Remember, we do have a whole bunch of after hours and pre-market consolidation that it's coming down to.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a potential bounce off the 65 EMA coming.
Okay, now that 65 EMA, you've got that at 585. So that would mean that there's still some more downside here first on SLQT.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it's right in the middle of all that consolidation that you see there when you look to the left. So could be a pretty interesting spot. That's what I'd be. If I was going to, try trading this again, I would probably want to try it at the 65 EMA just for a quick in and out bounce.
Okay. Well, we're trying to bounce now. Ryan, Staff Sergeant Ryan, Sandy, really? I know it's Sierra. I'm sorry. I'm so used to it. Charlie uses Sandy, and that's where I kind of learned it from. So I'm just so used to it. Ryan, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you like that. We'll see if SLQT can bounce here. It's trying. Well, now, let me ask you a hypothetical, 13. So let's say we don't test that 585 area that you outlined, but we recapture the VWAP here at 623. No go still? You think you want this to test lower?
If we recapture VWAP, well, then...
Yeah, I don't know what your VWAP is, but mine here says 623 on that, and it looks like we're bouncing towards that area here. So
mine's 626. We're just only...
Okay, so we're the same area.
Yeah. I still think the MACD is kind of telling you that this wants to roll over.
Okay.
So, that's why I would rather see a lower print that, that 65 EMA before I make a decision on that. Because buying here, I think you're just, I think the risk is a little bit higher.
Okay. Good stuff. Let's see, what else are you folks taking a look at? BBAI still holding around 9. I don't really think that's a lot. EA kind of dipped off that opening move higher, but that was still pretty good. TEM going to 80 tomorrow, says Lion. Hey, what that stock? You want to talk about a stock that's really moved quickly? Here, let me bring TEM up here. I got another 10% here today on TEM. Wow.
All right, I gotta take a look at a longer term time frame on the TEM. I don't look at this one enough.
Yeah, and remember Pelosi push on this one. We talked about it.
Oh, okay. So a triple top coming, maybe.
Are you on the daily?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I mean, with the RSI being what it is, and we're coming up to that. I mean, 80. Yeah, that sounds great. 80 for a reversal. I mean, I don't know how else to look at this other than I see a pretty clear case for a triple top, and I would, I don't know that I'd want to be buying up here for a long
Okay.
hold. That's just me though. I might be completely wrong about that, but I just don't like the way this chart looks. I don't like the RSI being extended up here. I feel like there's barely anything left on the bone here for this particular trade. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd avoid this one and only day trade it.
Okay. Let's check in here. AI, oops, let me go to the 1 minute chart here. AIFF curling back up towards the highs. SLQT did recapture that VWAP. Okay, at this point now, let's see if this can hold some strength here. I've got the VWAP at 623. So we'll see if we can hold this here. Maybe move up there. What would the target be? I still think 650 is going to be one of the important upside levels, but it's got to get the juice. And I'd really like to see some more buying volume come in here. Lion saying, I alerted TEM here when it was 47. Indeed. And I think we got the Pelosi push right around that exact same area of price area, excuse me.
New highs in AIFF.
Wow, what a move here in AIFF. Really good stuff here, group.
Yeah, I had a good day.
It ain't over yet, boss. We still, and so Bosnaldo mentioning SMCI. Remember, we do have SMCI earnings tonight. A couple more earnings reports on deck after today. UPST, David talked about that. He's going to be watching that one. Dash, Lyft, Gilead, and Zillow. And actually, Lyft, I think some of you folks ended up taking some of this. Lyft down 2% here. I'm curious to what this does ahead of earnings. I'm still in all of my calls. I haven't sold any of it, by the way. So interesting here on Lyft. Obviously, I'm waiting for that print here tonight.
You know what? CSAI that was mentioned earlier, it's not really moving very well at the moment, but it is setting up. Could get a bull pennant or a bull flag, but it's setting up. But the volume needs to be better. But maybe we just need to wait for that setup, and then the volume will kick in, and we can capture some of that movement. But CSAI, kind of interesting.
CSAI. Sorry, I was looking at Dom H here. I got lost.
And then SMCI. We are approaching the 500-day SMA. So if the earnings or whatever they're reporting today is good enough, then we are going to probably pop over that and up to the 200-day SMA. All right.
What are you guys seeing for some more possible trade targets here?
I'm seeing. I think that SLQT is still going to test that 65 EMA before we.
Let me bring that up here real quick.
We start holding VWAP.
And that's on the 5, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 586. So here's your spot. You tell you what, we come in there. I'll try some with you. We'll see. I'll give that a shot. LFWD getting mentioned by Market Sniper here. It looks like we're going for the highs there. 260 might be the spot to take that out. Let me bring that up so I can see a level 2 with you. Right there, 260. There's size there.
What does this company do?
Actually, volume looks pretty good here too. 263, your intraday high.
I'm going to find out what this is. I don't know what this is. Life Ward.
Decent little impulse move there. What, 248? A little bit of a volume pop. I wonder if that volume pop's enough to get us above the high, Wes.
Oh, so this is a healthcare type company.
Does it have an AI angle?
Well, let me see. You'll have to give me a minute. I've got some things to read through here to see if that's going to be the case or not.
Okay, watch the 263 high while you're doing that here, though.
It's a medical device company.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's got any devices with AI in it. Just did a capital raise last month.
Okay, backed off that spot, coming in a little bit here. VWAP at 243 if it gets down there.
Oh, okay. I know what this is. You know those exoskeletons, those robotic exoskeletons that you can kind of strap on. It helps you walk or lift heavy objects.
The military has applications for those, right? By the way, volume looks great here, Wis. This was a decent call.
Yeah, that's what this is. They have their exoskeletons called ReWalk, REWALK.
I remember when ReWalk IPO'd. Is this the same company with just a ticker change? Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. So they have that. They have the Myocycle FES bikes, the Ultra G anti-gravity systems.
Ooh, I was going to say, this sounds like a science fiction company almost.
This is cool. I mean, it sounds good. Got floats under 9 million. Write this down.
Powell is testifying right now, by the way.
Oh, is he going to get arrested?
No, I mean, at least I don't think so.
I'm kidding.
But by the way, just as far as LFWD here goes, 260 seems to be a spot. I've got 263 as the day high. Maybe it pops if it goes through that.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Got some revenue. Does 6 million in revenue. Not really profitable, but they're making their way there. This is something we ought to talk about today in happy hour.
In happy hour, huh? 263. You're at your day high here. Watch this 263 spot. It might pop into this. I love it. Keep hyping the company up. Wis, we're in discovery mode. We're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this thing.
Yeah, I mean, using robotics as medical devices, that's really got my attention because you have these surgical robots that surgeons are using to do surgeries over the internet. That's always been very interesting to me, and so has the mobility devices like this to help people with that have some kind of paralytic or they're too old to walk on their own. This could be a really big thing going forward. I love all these medical device companies that are into robotics. So very interesting to me. So I hype it up.
AI, by the way, and we did go through that high 267, the high on LFWD. By the way, AIFF looks like that pulled right above. This pulled into a downside halt here. So this is the second halt. This second halt, a move to the downside. BBAI might be bouncing here.
Oh yeah, that pulled beneath 925.
Yep, this actually came right to the VWAP. That's interesting. LTRY, the chat is mentioning. Sorry if I'm a little late to this one, guys. Oh, man. Okay, I am definitely late to this, but grats to you guys on the timely call on that one.
Yeah, this was moving last week, too. We traded this one. It was a penny stock, and now it's not. Float 11.6.
Carmen, bringing up a good point there regarding Lyft. You're saying there's robo-taxis in Dallas, and you're wondering if that's going to be part of the earnings report. Part of my tinfoil hat. Dash also reporting the same day. Maybe we get some news. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
What was? I'm sorry. Robo-taxis in Dallas. Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I have so many reservations about autonomous driving.
Me too.
Self-driving.
Me too, dude. Me too. I'm trying to play the wave because it's clearly making some stocks move, and I'm trying to make some money off of it. But I'm with you on that. LILTRY, by the way, popping to the highs here.
Did I say rewalk, or did Ryan say rewalk?
What?
He was asked. Somebody was asking if you'd said rewalk when we were talking about Christoph.
Yeah, because weren't you saying LFWD used to be that rewalk company?
It was I think that's one of their businesses, the rewalk exoskeleton product line. Yeah. Okay, so I think BBAI may go lower before we see 925 again.
Okay, let me bring that up here.
Well, SLQT finally, looking more like a heavy float stock. That's back down to the.
Hey, look, that went to the level that you talked about, and then gave it up.
Yeah, and then gave it up. That's right.
All right. So, Jonathan saying market moving. Powell must have said something. So I don't see anything on the Chiron here. Labor market conditions remain solid, appear to have stabilized. None of that is new. Let me see if there was any new comments here. By the way, LFWD still holding near the highs here. Commit to tailoring bank regulation. Try to avoid excess burden. Time to take a fresh look at debanking. Commit to work to help end debanking. Current rates make Fed well positioned to deal with the risks. I don't see anything new out of here that would have cut. Market's trading higher here now. S&P futures, actually, the S&P futures might go red-green right here, only down a tenth now. Apple at the highs. Amazon actually might pop. Sorry, let me get my chart back up here. Amazon might also pop and go higher here. Powell in no hurry to lower rates. Indeed. And I don't think he should be. And that's not new. And we kind of all expected that. But you're right here. Apple literally ripping to the highs here.
I was one of the ones that voted that I don't think we see rate cuts or any rate changes this year. And at least until June, I think that's going to be the case. I still have a big question mark what happens in the second half of the year, though.
Okay.
But it's looking like there may not be any.
I voted for one in that poll. All right. Apple super strong. Let's see if there's anything else looking around here. AIFF resumed and maybe bouncing on AIFF. LFWD pulling off that 269 high, by the way. Dom H, I would be careful with this one and not trust it. We covered that one since the news was breaking. There's better plays, I think. TEM, this did come in a little bit too. 15 EMA on the 5. Lost the VWAP there after a battle, though.
CSAI, this needs to get an increase in volume or have some price action start to take shape here because the setup's there and we just need the volume to push it up now. I mean, that looks pretty primed to go, but if we don't get that volume, we're going down. Okay, so SLQT, that is now approaching the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
Are we at a bounce spot yet on SLQT?
Potentially.
Oh gosh, this gave the entire move up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So here's a 200 EMA now. Let's see if it bounces. Getting a little bit of support right there now, but don't know how long that's going to last. IFF trying to rebound after being unhalted, but still think this potentially could fall through the VWAP.
I'll tell you what, you could take some stones to trade SLQT here. What a huge reversal. I could see it bouncing from here, but I don't feel great about that. No position for me, SLQT.
Yeah, just too heavy.
That's
the thing that was bothering me about it before we opened.
I'm with you.
It's bothering me about it now.
I am with you. Kevin, Bloomberg, per Bloomberg, OpenAI director Larry Summers says he has not received Elon's bid to acquire the company.
LIPO?
I'm pretty sure Sam told him to go pound sand anyway, so I don't really think that. Ooh, do we have something here? LIPO. This is actually one of the better looking setups here. I don't know if it works or not.
That's the big question here. I think what needs
the volume's so low.
Well, it's not just that. It's the concern I have about what happens when it tries to get to the VWAP again. It has not had a good time with VWAP this pre-market. So is this going to be the move that takes it back over and we can trade better, or are we just going to see another rejection of VWAP and go lower? that's what we need to wait and find out here, because that VWAP is also at where there's a significant supply zone where a lot of sideways price action happens. So could be a resistance area. Volume, again, going to have to be a very big factor in whether or not we get above that VWAP or not.
Okay. Anything else that you guys see that is kind of appealing?
CSAI could not get that volume, and now
EFRG from Crow. Again, kind of low volume. All right. Now, finally, I feel like I can take a breath. I feel like things have slowed down a little bit here.
Val said it's time for debanking. Is that what it was? He said it's time for debanking, or I thought he was trying to.
Here, I get you the absolute, or the absolute. I'll get you the actual quote here.
To help end, he wants to help end debanking.
Yeah. Powell, Fed Chair Powell says, commit to tailoring bank regulation, try to avoid excessive burden, and time to take a fresh look at debanking. Fed Chair Powell says he will commit to work to help end debanking.
Okay, well, look.
BFRG, great call, Crow.
Banks not really, the big banks not really reacting to this at all. What's the, let's see, take a look at the KRE. How's that going? Oh, that one's, okay, so this is a little bit better movement in the smaller regionals. So you have the KRE. Yeah. It looks like, I don't know what time exactly he started talking, but if it was around 9:30 this morning when we opened, there you go.
It was. I don't think it was around 9:30.
I don't think it was either. But
yeah, it's 10:30. I think he started at like 20 minutes ago or so. Here we have the time. Here it was 10 a.m. Eastern. So he started 35 minutes ago.
Debanking is when a bank closes or limits an account for a customer or business. So it's a regulatory measure, and it's to help with anti-money laundering, anti-corruption. So if we're looking at unwinding debanking, then it's just part of the whole theme that we talked about how banking regulations and likely M&A regulations may soften in this administration. So that's probably what we're seeing here.
LIPO, it's trying right here. It's trying to take off. We'll see if it's got the strength to do that. Volume is not telling us that it's ready yet, but it won't break down yet on LIPO.
Yeah, it's. I think that's more along the lines of what it opens up. SRX. It kind of opens up more, the door to more corruption, and to thinking about its point, it could hurt banks if they have to keep bad customers on the books. So Powell talking about tailoring, maybe it's not for every bank can do that. It might be some banks that can, some banks that can't. But I think this is meant mostly for the regionals. We'll see.
BBAI, this actually looks like this might be trying lower here. We've retraced a huge part of that move. AMC is on the scanner. I don't even know if I want to look at that.
Oh, geez.
Spanning value. AMC, I don't know.
It's having a good day. I don't see anything that's causing the move.
AIFF, interestingly, after that pull, this is starting to grind up. I'm not in this, but maybe this one's not done. I'd say watch the volume on that. How did those Chinese names, how are those doing here? Okay, so Baba, this is actually holding higher here. Maybe a potential breakout 115 on Baba. Yeah, pre-market high looks like we tested that area earlier today.
It looks like SLQT trying to bounce off that 200 EMA. I still don't want to touch this one anymore. It's just, I don't like the float. Too heavy.
SLQT, huh? You did get that. Yeah, you did get that bounce, but I'm with you on this one. Don't love the volume.
Mm-hmm.
Don't love it.
So here's BBAI trying to recapture VWAP. CSAI, that one's still looking like we, got a decent setup here, but again, with the volume just isn't there when it needs to be. So we can go higher, back into 12. Well, it was a lot of fun until all the volume just kind of got sucked out of the room.
I'm still having fun. I am actually looking forward to some more options trades with Anne Marie. So don't forget, if there's some stocks that you want to set up some potential options trades on, we're going to do that here in a little bit.
Yeah, Powell sucking all the air out of the room again. Well, okay, so how about that? KRE then is maybe a potential Anne Marie options trade. Do they have options?
KRE should, yeah. I wonder how liquid they are. I mean, they should be pretty good, though. Yeah, chain looks good. Good volume, good open interest. KRE might work. We could ask about that. Dom H is waking up, you guys are saying?
Yeah, I have it on my screen right now. It's trying to curl up, trying to recapture some of these EMAs. MACD also starting to curl. Let's see if we can get that VWAP. I have that at 942 right now. AIFF trying to return as well. I don't think I'll be taking any positions in anything at the moment. Doesn't mean
I've kind of slowed down too. It did start with a rip there, but I'm kind of slowing down a little bit myself.
Yeah. Jay Rice mentioning CAR. That's the Avis Budget Group, right? Yeah.
It is.
Okay. They have earnings tomorrow, like he said. And it is... Okay, let's take a closer look here at these moving averages. So having a hard time with the 50-day SMA. 20-day SMA is giving it support. And then we have the 200 at 95.
What are you looking at? Sorry, I can bring it up here.
CAR, CAR.
Oh, that's right. Avis. We just talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is this company's done really. I think they also have a pretty good short interest too. 18.75% with 4.21 days to cover. Oh, that's interesting. I could have sworn. Oh, they must have done a split. Let me double check and see if that's correct. No,
I don't see one on the calendar.
I must be thinking of some other company. You know what? I think I am. I must be thinking of what's another one that's associated with vehicles. It starts with A.
Oh, I thought you meant Carvana.
No.
AZO?
AutoZone. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
I got those two confused for a second. AutoZone is a huge price. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. LFWD, maybe recapturing the VWAP there.
Take care, comp. Pal killed the vibe. He sure did.
It sure seems like he did.
Oh, man. Oh, you're totally right about that. I bet he's fun at parties. Yeah, SOPA, this is still trying to get back up to the VWAP, but man, all the volume just left the market with Powell running his gums. All right, well, how are some of these bigger names moving, I guess?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we might be done with some of these smaller names, or at least temporarily. I guess that could always change.
Yeah, I mean, if they are going to do anything, it's probably going to be sometime after lunch. Or during, who knows? But we tend to see some better movement after lunch, like we did with DOMH yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that was the afternoon trade. Powell corrupt dusted through Jay Wild.
Jeez.
Oh,
It's like we're all in an elevator and he did that, you know?
oh man.
And I still have to get to the top floor.
What do you guys see out there? BBAI trying to test its VWAP?
They're asking if AIF goes. Well, AIF actually Jack just blasted off and is going to halt.
Is it really again? So that wasn't done. How about that? Oh my God. Halted. 570.
New highs. So to answer that question, no, I don't think it's going to 3 yet. Now, BBAI could be next. You know, once when we get some of these names that are getting traded a lot, once one of them halts, a lot of the attention diverts to other names that are also running. So BBAI could be another one. We might see some more movement in LIPO. I don't know about SLQT, but there's another maybe. You know, SOPA could be another one. Just take a look at the ones you've been trading today. And okay, now BBAI might actually be the one. That just got over VWAP. Because if you can't trade something and you have that itch, where are you going to go? You're going to go to the next mover.
I am watching BBAI here at VWAP.
Well done, Robert Smith, on his AIFF, getting out before that halt.
Yep. And good job, Aura, on BBAI.
Is it playtime again? Hey, could be. Just make sure we, you know, at this point, I don't think I'd be taking the same size positions in BBAI.
Yeah, I'd be careful with that.
I'd be, you know, my stops would be tighter. My limit orders for selling would be a little bit lower. Just get more trades, you know, just get a little bit of profit scalping, because I don't know where this ends up going after the moves we've had today. The volume certainly has been declining, so getting to certain levels is not going to be reachable. So I'd just be very, very small if I'm seeing any moves in anything.
Did you mention LIPO? Because this looks like this is trying to get through 420 here. Let's see, VWAP at 463, decent area if it pops, but it needs volume, I think.
It's the 65 EMA that it's got to get past.
Yep. And Robert here mentioning BBAI doesn't have the volume AIFF does. And exactly, it's actually unable. It actually just pulled beneath its VWAP here a second ago.
Well, you know, to answer the question about what I consider BBAI a long-term hold, that just depends on, you know, your risk profile. I mean, these aren't the kind of...
To answer that, 13, I think I need more information.
Yeah, well, for me, this isn't one that I would hold for a long term, because the ones I like to hold long term pay dividends, and, you know, have businesses that you can see whenever you walk out your door. So, and sometimes maybe if you don't, but this, you know, BBAI, if you ask somebody on the street what this was, nobody could tell you. You ask them what Microsoft is, they know exactly what that is. I want to hold the ones that everybody knows what they are for the longer term that pay. Those are the ones I like. These are trades. Maybe there's swings. You could swing these if you want to hold it for longer than a day, but know what your risk profile is.
LIPO, we'll see if this can take 420 here. Jay Wild mentioning GME. Wow, this is taking the next leg up here. And there was nothing on this one, right? There was no like roaring kitty tweet or anything that we're unaware of. Just that. Now, Ryan Cohn with Michael Saylor.
It's trying to rebound. That green candle that we had after the selling, that's a neutral, and it could indicate continuation or reversal. And so far, it's giving reversal vibes. But again, with the volume, it's not where it needs to be. And if we want to see 12 again, we need to see that volume increase if we're going to get on the other side of 12 and push past 1241. I think there was also a mention of LIPO. That's still trying to get back above the 65 EMA. It looks like it's succeeding for the time being. SLQT also getting support from the 200 EMA. I don't know that this is going to get back up to VWAP because of the float, but it looks like it is getting some support down here and going sideways.
That just disappeared off my list. This LIPO looks like 430 is your next spot there. 430, maybe even 431 if it can get above. Here is your SLQT holding that area lower that you talked about.
Mhm. Kevin mentioning Vuzi, V-U-I-Z. I'm sorry, V-U-Z-I.
Daniel, how often do you hold these movers? It depends. Some of these we're not in for more than 5, 10, 20 seconds, frankly. Really depends on which one. Each one is a little bit different. Swings totally different, but for the day trades, those are all individual.
So Vuzix has news, but that's news from yesterday.
Was it good news?
Yes, they're launching their new Augment OS. It's OS, the operating system for their smart glasses.
Okay.
So seems like the move is a little late. Given that
AIFF is open, going higher, +6 now.
All right. Here we are. Now, I'm trying to see if Vuzix is actually halted here. It looks like, no, I don't see that it's halted, but it's not really moving either. A little bit of short interest here, 16.35, 3.17 days to cover. So, maybe squeezing could play a small factor in here. Could be a much bigger factor once it gets past 450, but doesn't really seem to be moving that much right now. AIFF, that pulled after hitting 618. Could gap fill down to 570 and then maybe go higher. But
I was going to say, it sure looks to my eye like we're going to gap fill this down. Nice job hitting 6 on that, Daniel. That's a really good trade. We were talking about buying AIFF in the low 4s earlier, so really well done from the group here.
Nice moves.
Well done. LIPO, the 113 mentioned. This is curling. I'll tell you what. What's the top of this candle? 432. Okay. I would watch that spot. That 432 spot might have something there on LIPO. I think it's got to go above it. SPY, DS mentioning SPY, go crazy. I'm going to check back here on LIPO. I'm not sure that's done. Maybe they'll go right when I take it off the screen. But here's your SPY chart. Look at this. So it looked like we were kind of flashing some red arrows earlier. SPY actually might take out yesterday's intraday high. Let's call that 605 and a half.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are getting, actually, all this is doing right now is not really giving us a clear direction on where we're going from the base, because we had an inside candle yesterday. And the way that these inside candles work is when you start to get the price going in one direction, that tends to be the direction it's going to go. It's going to be a breakdown or a breakout, but you're going to end up seeing one of those two things happen to get out of this mother candle that we put in on Friday. So far, it kind of seems like we're pretty much trading sideways, but broadening. So I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up printing a higher high than yesterday. So higher than 605.50 we could go today. I don't necessarily know where we're going to close, but I do think we could see a higher print than yesterday. All right. So CSAI is still trying to curl here.
SPY 605.
Yeah, 605.50. That's where I think we could end up going here. And then after we hit that, I don't know what's going to happen.
I just want to give that big bear a hug. Glenn saying, go ONDS. You're not going to get a complaint from me. Let's go ONDS. It's actually a pretty good looking chart here. Good looking chart here.
Well, we're over 605 in the SPY now.
250 would be the next spot that I really want to see ONDS take out, by the way.
Well, BBAI punched up to, what is this, 907? Holding above VWAP now. This may be turning around. I have a feling that it's going to, if the volume doesn't get better, if it approaches 925, it might get rejected again. So, I keep saying it's going to be all about the volume. I think this is going to be another case where, it's going to be all about the volume.
SLQT, that held that area, but really hasn't been able to move higher yet. AIFF, maybe this is setting up to take 6 out. I don't know. I'm probably done day trading here too now. We'll see. I mean, maybe there will be another setup. Maybe AIFF on that setup. We'll see.
Oh, thanks, Sideshow, for flagging RCAT when because the CEO is going to be, having an announcement or a speech tomorrow. So that's going to be on our radar then.
Yeah, we talked about this, didn't we? I feel like we talked about this yesterday. The TD Cowen 46 annual.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, February 12th.
Yep, and you had the actual time when he's supposed to be talking, right?
I could have sworn, unless that was a different one that we were. No, I beg your pardon. Thompson's presentation is scheduled between 1:20 and 2 Eastern.
Okay.
So yeah, we did. That's right. Good memory there. 13.
I try.
Good memory there. AIFF took 6. Oh my God.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Apparently, we're seeing the same thing.
SLQT also pushing up, as is BBAI. But like you said, I think I'm okay. I'm happy with what I did today, and I don't want to get caught in anything. So I'll just watch and be entertained.
Okay. AIFF continuing to push here.
Certainly is.
Ryan, take care of yourself. Good stuff here today, my man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, Ryan.
Well, hopefully. I guess I shouldn't assume, right? Well, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Good name, by the way.
Hans saying that Tesla is selling. What did we end up doing today with the price action? Did we touch 350? You know what? We did.
On Tesla, let me go to a bigger chart here for you. How much time do we have before Anne-Marie? 5 minutes before Anne-Marie here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just barely not 550. It was 349 and 37 cents. But that was right out of the gate. Went up to 350, and we have not visited it since. Okay. Well, I'm happy with when I mentioned that.
Mike, no problem, man. We're happy that you show up here and talk with us and give us trading ideas, man.
Hey, no problem, man.
No problem at all.
And here goes AIFF. Yeah, Tesla really pulling now. So let's see here. At this point, what would we be looking at for a Tesla? I mean, we only have several minutes left. While AIFF is ripping, let me ask you this. What level would we be looking at Tesla for support? I'm thinking somewhere around 325, maybe 325, 320, 328, somewhere around there, I think.
I thought this 335, when we were breaking down Tesla earlier, I talked about 335 kind of lining up with the bottom end of the consolidation area and pretty much being the 100-day. That's where I see its first level of support here.
Well, by AIFF, this thing is just going vertical. Looking for 7 now. Actually, this 7 might be it for this one.
Okay.
You have the 65 EMA on the weekly chart at 703. That could be. I mean, if I was still in this looking for an exit, 7 would probably be it for me. You'll have to make that decision, but that's the next EMA in the way here. That's what I'd be selling at.
Okay.
An SLXN, that's new lows now. Select quote, this thing's coming back, getting back above the
I'll be damned.
EMA.
Look at that.
And that was getting support from the 200 EMA. This big Bertha here with the 134 million share float really
Big
moving around.
Bertha. You said that, I started thinking about a golf club. That's wild.
GSAT with a sudden move over VWAP here, and
GSAT. That was the one that Izzy was talking about earlier. Was that VSAT?
Well, GSAT, I believe, is the one that had the deal with MDA.
Izzy here. By the way, Ryan, I will be buying Amazon if it goes down hard. So you're saying that if Amazon basically continues to sell off here, it looks like we reversed, right? Yeah, we reversed off this little up move here. You're basically selling if this goes down, what, 230, 231? You're looking to be a buyer of that? Okay.
Yeah, you know what?
SLQT took the fat insults as fuel to go higher. Daniel, that's awesome. That's funny, Daniel.
216 is an interesting level in Amazon. If we lose the 50-day SMA, that's where I would be looking at support. 216. If you draw a line there, I think you'll see why.
Okay. And let's start wrapping up here. We're going to go to Anne Marie next. Any closing words for the group? Here is your 216. It's right at this low, by the way. That makes a ton of sense.
Well, it was a really fun day, folks. We had some nice movement in some of these names. Let's hope we get some more of that tomorrow. Everybody, you did well. Have fun with Anne-Marie. She's going to really give it to you with these options trades. We've got some great ideas that we've already posted earlier or mentioned earlier. So we'll see what she's got for us. Have a good day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay green.
All right. Sounds good. That is 13. Really good job here today, 13. And his departure leaves room for Anne-Marie. Let's go ahead and bring her on. Anne-Marie, happy Tuesday. How you doing here?
Did you guys bring the heat today?
Oh, man.
What?
Man, oh, man. It started off hot today, and it didn't cool down until right near the end. So, man, we were busy. I was like head on a turret here today.
Yeah, it was fun. And I could tell you were happy about it too.
Yeah,
you get a certain level of glee when
I get loaded up on coffee. Sometimes it's the small things that make me happy. We definitely had some fun here today. We had some pretty good jokes and stuff here today as well. So good stuff. But all right, let me bring up your chart here. Let's see, what do you have for the group here today? Just to kind of recap, we did talk about
EIX.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned that. So,
KRE. Did you guys say also? I can't remember. If it comes to you, let me know. So we're looking at KRE, and I would suspect this is sort of a longer term view that somebody might want to look at KRE for, or so I'm not quite sure what we're setting up here in this ETF. We could look at things two ways. One, we've got a bear flag. Let me use my drill rings. Okay, so we've got ourselves, good heavens, she doesn't know how to run the tools.
My thinkorswim's been a little slow today. Unsure if you're seeing the same thing.
Mine also. So this would be a bear flag to me. I just read an article. Somebody did an interview for, I don't know who it was, but they were some big real estate person. And they said, listen, rates aren't going down, so prices are going to start going down. And so they are talking about a 20% clip in potentially 3 years, but a 9% clip. I don't know. I think they said by September or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is a bear flag and we're looking for a downward trend, then we could do something using an old simple thing. A long time ago when I started trading, when we were still using, picks and shovels to chart, we used these harmonic patterns, and they were an ABCD or things like that. So the leg here is from 57 to 70, so it's about $13,
Mm-hmm.
which would mean a break from this a channel here would give us $15 to the downside, which, could bring us into 50. But that's going to take a long time to unwind. And so I know it's boring, but boring will make you money a lot of times. And so why not? Let's look at something that's going to pay you through the summertime. So let's pick August, right? And wow, the volume is, oh, look at that. Somebody else doing calculations. 1,300 open interest, right at our 53 support zone that we talked about. So if they're holding it long term, they've sold that to collect revenue. We can see that there's nothing going on in the chains here. So I would say if the chains were good, we would do an iron condor. Just not seeing a lot going on here. And
Okay.
I don't, I like to trade charts that have a catalyst that's telling me something's going to go. And that gives me a little bit more room to decide what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So sorry about that. SMCI. Remember,
Earnings tonight.
Yes.
Finally.
So, I know, right? This is so weird. What's going on with these guys?
Yeah.
But I have an unusual suggestion. So here it is. We were talking about this when they were down here in the skids, right? They were like at 20 and
Yeah.
the CFO would quit and whatever, right? And now
Hired their auditor, got another one. I mean, all types of nonsense.
Exactly, right? And so people are fairly confident that something might go on. We've got higher lows, and what we've got to do is break through these lower highs. So normally I would put up some kind of double butterfly, but here's something super interesting. If you're looking for something that gives you the command right after earnings, I have a suggestion for you. It is a long iron condor. Now, I've got it set out as two verticals,
Mhm.
simply because some of us might say, oh, I don't want to blah, 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 right? But these two verticals actually make a long iron condor. And I've gone to levels that I think are really important to the folks trading in the chains. So we have 30 to 25, and then we have 50 to 55. So what we've done is piggyback on top of some big players. Okay?
Okay.
Very big positioning, of very obtrusive positioning sitting in there. Now, here's the good and the bad. Good thing, if it goes way past 55, you're going to make $395. Or if it goes way past 25, you're going to make $395. So you're going to get a 3 to 4, 4 to 1 almost of your debit if you're so inclined.
Mhm.
If the chart does nothing, that's going to zero. Just so you know. So if you say to yourself, well, gee, thanks for that. Either I make a lot or I fall off a cliff. Isn't there an in between? And so, yes, of course there is. You could go further away into March, but that doubles the size of the spread. And indeed, to me, because, see, look at what's going on with volatility in here.
Emery, Voodoo's saying, can you expand the chart? I can't see the trades on the screen. Can we change the?
Sorry.
Yeah, Voodoo, I think it's just the size of the text here. I've got my thing maximized so I can actually see it, but we'll make that bigger for you.
Thank you for asking. We aim to please over here.
That's right, Anne Marie. Voodoo, is this better? Let me know if this is better. I think he said he couldn't
Bam.
see the charts or
All
the
right.
trades. So there we go.
Okay, so now here's the great thing about selling vol here. Look at the implied volatility over in these charts. 130%. That's huge.
Yeah.
So my thought, if you went to March, you'd sell the iron condor, right? At the 212. Now,
Yep.
you might go, but Anne Marie, aren't those going to come right into those targets and beyond? Possibly, but they might do nothing. And if they only move a little, you're going to recoup all the cash that you put out for your verticals if you only wanted to take one side, or the iron condor itself. And so I can turn that into an iron condor so everybody can see it one more time. It's very rare that I put a long iron condor out.
I was going to say, I
Why?
can't remember the last one we've done together here.
I don't do it. But this chart has really been some kind of crazy barn burner in one direction or another over time.
Yeah.
And we are seeing where the traders are positioning. So if it were me, I would take the long iron condor into earnings, right? It's only going to last 3 days. And I'm going to take the short iron condor into March. And so if it does nothing, this one collapses, probably ends up being worth only 15, 20 cents.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I recoup almost all of my investment, and I get to carry on if it moves sideways, and I can collect even more. So that's what I
Okay.
would say. If you're a person that goes, this thing is absolutely going to the floorboards, I don't know what you're talking about, lady, then, buy the straight up put. But the vol is so expensive. You're going to make something if you just sell some options on that. All right, next one, EIX.
Okay.
So are these guys oh no, this is that's right. These are the guys out in California,
Yep.
right? Okay.
Electric company, I believe,
Yes.
that it's going to be
yes.
involved with the fire stuff.
Take a look at that chart. Holy smokes.
I tried playing this as a bounce using just some calls at 55. As you can see, that didn't work.
Dear me.
Yeah.
That is a dumpster fire.
Yep.
Earnings. And I just read an article that they put out that said they had to borrow some money. Didn't they have to put out they just put out something that said they had to some kind of bond issuance for them. I can't remember. All right.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
see here.
So sorry. I must have seen it someplace else, or it might have been an artifact in my brain, which also happens. Sorry.
That's all good.
So here's this last tragic fade, right? The 150 takes it to 45. We've got earnings ahead. I'm sure this is going to be cataclysmic, but at some juncture, they're going to have somebody help them out, right? That's what our government does to big companies. They don't let them fail. They just bail them out. So that's probably coming, but not at this juncture. And I would suspect that every bounce is going to fail. What we do see is a little bit of dampening volume as that happens. We can see momentum shifting,
Mm-hmm.
but the bounces are still going to be sell zones. So let's see what the volatility looks like. Yeah, the vol is not bad. My thought was, let's go to March
Okay.
and let's follow the big feet, right? And so March has 55, the 55 strike as very important. So I did a 55.60 and then a 42.50, 37.50 put. They report on the 27th, so we'll get a vol adjustment, and that should help us a little bit. We normally like to collect at least 20% on these, and so we are doing that. You know, if you're taking a gamble on continuation, I would go with the short call spreads out of the money. If you are taking a gamble on them eventually getting themselves some help, I would sell the short puts. And so the reason I chose that, I did choose 42, did I not? Yes. The reason I chose 42.50 is because of this line right here, the 1618.
Okay.
So I just made a mathematical assessment of that and said, how far is it going to bounce? And then, the second it starts getting right there, you set an alert and give it 3 days to bounce. And if it doesn't, just say goodbye and either lick your wounds or whatever. But that is what I think is the best bet for
Okay.
GIX.
Iron Condor.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, my thought is that I love using this. My thought is that we look for places where volatility is exploding. And so for those of us that have Thinkorswim, I do want to show you this scanner that I
Okay.
do. I have all stocks, all optionable. I have them a minimum of $22. I don't really care how expensive they get. And in the option chains, I want to choose minimum implied volatility of 114 to the max. And so I scan it, and every day something comes out fairly dramatic. And so what I want is a combination of big volume and high vol. And so not this one. Moderna
Now,
GDS. Who's that?
Moderna, by the way, reports earnings Friday morning.
Oh, let's do that.
Okay.
All right. mRNA. Yeah, we fly through them when I've already built the spread, so we can get through a lot more. I love it when folks from the team just start belting.
That's the
out.
secret. That's the secret to getting through more tickers is getting them early and letting you prepare. We appreciate you stopping by. I mean, that's just.
Yes. I had a raucous time today, I will tell you.
Awesome. We're going to have a good time tonight, too. We got a webinar tonight.
Yes, absolutely. We are going to have tons of fun. It's always good. Always good. All right. Waiting. Okay. So this is a very interesting story. I read a story. I don't know if it's true or not, but the story was that these guys really have never been able to make money. And so I don't know if prior earnings refute that. I don't have any idea. Could be, could not be, but I see a lot of negatives. Negative 189, negative 333, negative 387, positive 53 cents, negative 953, and so on and so forth. Okay, so for the last 5 earnings events, they've made 55 cents once and lost a bunch of money the rest of the time, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't. If you go back here, and this probably comes as no surprise to anyone, it wasn't until February of 2022, post-vaccine for COVID, that this thing really made money. Since then, a lot of losing quarters there. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So I am going to guess that this reverts to its natural state. And I'm going to suggest that any kind of bounce that occurs is likely to fade. So how do we trade that? Two ways. Let's see what the vol's gorgeous. And they report Friday. That's the
Yeah.
date of expiration.
Here,
Oh,
let me actually really quickly here. I've got the earnings calendar. Boop. Moderna, Friday before open. Confirmed.
okay. All right. So if indeed this chart drops back to its mean over time, maybe that's about 18, right? That means that it loses half. The vol is huge. I don't like the gamble so much on the day of expiry. I would at least like a couple of days.
Me too.
Yeah. So we have two things. First, let's see where the big money is sitting here. Um, they're sitting at 30. Most of them are on the put side.
35,
and
it looks
40.
like.
Look at this, 40, 3,800. That seems like a gamble. Let's take a peek at that. Let's see where they're trying. There's resistance at 40. So they might have sold those puts for credit, right? Because it looks to me like that could easily be resistance, that 40 area. Yeah. So let's see. We got 35, and then we have 36. More of them at 36. 292. Wow. They have these. These are not priced that badly. If this is what they're thinking, 292. So they're thinking almost $3, and these are $4, so 25% more, but still not too bad. So if we happen to pile in and we do 30, that's really expensive. Yeah, that's really expensive. If we go to March and we do, whoa, check out the difference in those prices. What?
Yeah.
Okay. Tough pricing here. Tough pricing. Let's see. If we did, let's do Fibonacci. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this, and this has replaced my box. Instead of cut and paste, I just do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I have the box thing. So this is saying that 29 to 26 is where price action looks like on the downside. And if we do it on the upside, such a knucklehead. If we do it on the upside, it looks like 40 to 44. Both of those look like crazy gambles to me. If I were sitting on this one, I would say, wow, there's only one there. I would say the 28 puts and be done with it.
Okay.
$54. Golly, that took a long time for me to get to that. But if it happens, this thing could be worth $3. And if it doesn't happen, we're out $50, right? So you don't go buy 100 of them or whatever. You just buy a couple and you go, okay, this is a gamble, because we can see that this chart has tendency to bounce. It's got some bounce events, right?
Yeah, sure does.
Collapsed right under this and immediately recaptured it. We could have a collapse and an immediate recapture. So the key is, if it collapses, you better hit sell, because they're going to come in and try and hold it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's see what probably doesn't have enough volume. Oh my goodness, you guys were talking about GameStop also.
Yeah, that I saw that move in here earlier. I don't know what the deal is with GameStop. Did you want to look at maybe like Dash or Lyft because they both report tonight?
Oh yes,
Upstart would
let's
be
do
another
Dash.
one. Okay, Dash, I think that's actually one we haven't looked at, I don't think ever. So
I
maybe
have never looked at Dash.
okay,
Here.
perfect.
Yeah, never. Okay, so first thing, let's do a wave. Wow, these guys look terrible. I figured they'd be making a lot of money based on how much I use them. Good grief.
I'm still wondering if there's a DoorDash Lyft partnership to be had, but we'll see.
Oh, you mean like how Uber does with Uber Eats?
Yeah, especially because Uber is eating Lyft's lunch, no pun intended. They both report earnings tonight. Again, this is tinfoil hat, Anne Marie. I got nothing confirmed here. I don't know if this is going to factor into your trade. I saw a gigantic vertical call spread on Lyft in the April expiry, 2023 vert spread.
Interesting.
So
interesting. Okay. Well, here is the 75% marker here, and there is the top. So, wow, this is quite the rounded. This could even be a cup and handle breaking out over 150.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So 150 would be the base. 200 would be the beginning. All right. Let's give this one until March, just in case something happens. Wow. This pricing is tough. Okay, this might be better. 160, 150, 140. And then 200, 210, 220. So that's a $1.50 double butterfly in Dash. $1,000 upside, $160 risk. And if you think there's going to be something big coming up, it could shove it right there into the center strike, right? I do have that call spread a little bit more expensive because this looks like heavy congestion here. And you might say, well, Anne-Marie, if we're looking at that and it's going to do something and we think that's going to look like that, why don't we try the 210, 220, 230? Why don't we try that?
Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Yep.
And that saves us a couple of pennies, 20 cents. It gives us about a 20% discount. But the chart means the stock has to move an additional $10 for it to be beneficial to us. So in my mind, sometimes cheap is not always good. Cheap is great if you're finding a bargain, but not so much if you're looking at chains like this, especially when we see all of it sort of tapers off here and there's nothing going on. We want to be in the meat where these guys are sitting.
Sure.
Did you say Uber was reporting tonight also?
No, it's Lyft that's reporting.
Lyft.
Now, didn't Uber just already? Hang on a second.
They might
Lyft
have.
definitely reporting tonight. Let me see when Uber reported, though, or when they're scheduled. I think we just talked about this a second ago. Yeah, February 5th, they reported already.
Okay. Whoa, look at this. Good grief. That would be the song remains the same right there. 8 and 20. And you said you saw a big vertical spread?
Yep. April expiry 2023 were the strikes, which I think is interesting because I think the top end of that box is 20 flat right there.
Yep.
So it looks to me like that spread is saying, hey, we're going to try and break out
Yeah.
from that 20
Try and
level, but
double
maybe
it,
not as
yeah.
high as, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to try and double it here. So they've got the 2023. And so they're going to try a half back here, maybe into this range. Or that would be 25. Yeah, that's a conservative bet. You know, if it does break out, the 2023 is not. That's why they've got it at 23. This spike right here. So yeah, I mean, you could piggyback on them. Let's see where they're sitting. Wow.
Yeah, I see so those 20, when I looked at this, Anne Marie, those 20 calls that you just had your cursor on, they were 25-cent ask. So I just bought a handful of them. I said, forget the top end of it. These are so cheap. I'm just going to grab a couple. I'm not going to limit my upside, and I'll just see if this works. It's a lot. I treated it like a lotto ticket, to be quite honest with you. Now they're doubled since then. So I'm going to leave it on for earnings. Giddy up.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking here, but yeah, I think that's probably
Okay.
the best bet, just to chase them.
Okay. Well, we'll see if it works. We'll know today.
Yeah.
All right, Anne Marie, that was a lot. I feel like we might have set a record here for how much we got through today.
I know,
so
but I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I like that fast fire. That's why I'm always digging around when it's my day to come on, going gimme. So,
okay, and I will keep trying. I'll keep trying to get those ready for you. So really good stuff, Anne Marie. We'll see you tonight. Thanks again for everything. Good luck on those trades, and we'll catch up with you on Friday.
All right, I'll see you tonight.
All right, sounds good. That is Anne Marie Band, folks. She is amazing. Hopefully you enjoyed that option action with Anne Marie. Going to send you over to Tech Tune Up with Paul Meeks next, so stay tuned for that. Have a great rest of your